Here it is. It's been a while, actually, since I've played, so it's a good thing I didn't start this case prematurely. Or I'd be a little bit lost, because I was a little bit lost in the last case, but I remembered enough. So here we go. The final case. Extra episode. The Double Turnabout. Another trial is to be held against Sokyo, and Aya is the plaintiff, meaning it's up to defense attorney Tenshi Hinanai to face her. What other surprises lurk in the shadows of this case? Ready, chat? Here we go. Wow, look at that background. April 20th, 2323, Shimemaru Law Office. Phew, all done. Writing it all out after collecting data is exhausting, but this turned out into a great article. All that's left is to print copies now. Let's get this done. Now it should be around here. Huh? Just where did it go? That's strange. I thought for sure I'd left it there. That sounds like somebody burglared Aya. No way. Momiji, you're still here? I can't eat anymore. You don't have to eat anything. Just wake up and get in the office. Aya, you're back? Now what happened to the paper I left there? Eh? Paper? Oh. You were cleaning up the office today, weren't you? So did you mess around with it? I didn't mess with anything. Besides, you told me not to move your things about 5 times. Then how do you explain this? Maybe somebody took it. Momiji, did anyone else come here? No. I mean, I was taking a nap in the next room over, so... Why would you pick today to start taking it easy? Because you always leave the office in such a mess. It's a lot of work cleaning up after you. I regret that a little now. Only a little, she says. Well, fine. We'll just have to find the one obstructing the free press. And then I'm going to kill them. Aya, you can't say that with a pog face. We will? Right now? Of course we will. Now, hurry, hurry. The thief could be escaping as we speak. Meanwhile, in heaven, 9:32. So, I have a very simple question for you. What's up? What are you doing here again? A very simple question, like you said, and it's got a very simple answer. Then the time has come for us to fight to the death? Like I keep telling you, I'm just a humble fairy woman. I only came here to deliver this. That's a letter. You can't mean. Yep, it's a letter from Lady Aki. I'm feeling a rush of deja vu. Yep, I feel the same way. The situation's about the same too. Why come to me? What happened to that Tengu? She can't be the defense this time because of reasons. And what reasons would that be? I don't know. A humble fairy woman such as myself wouldn't know anything about that kind of stuff. What does the fairy have to do with it? Oh, here we go. Received with bad grace. Another letter from the Yama delivered by Komachi. She is once again requesting a substitute defense attorney. Well, now that it's in your hands, I'm done here. See ya. Why? Do I have to do this again? Good morning to you, young Lady Hinanai. Today promises to be another fine day, does it not? Iku. Yes, what is it you need? Can't you read the air for pity's sake? That is my ability. Whatever do you mean? Reading the air is my specialty, is it not? No, that's why I'm telling you. Read the air around here right now. Whatever do you mean? I have been doing so from the beginning, have I not? Could that be it? Does Iku get under my skin so easily because she's so good at reading the air? A request. What good fortune! Another adventure like our last one should make for a fine way to pass the time. You just love to watch other people have a hard time. But I could say the same of you. Have I not been terribly victimized myself due to your selfish ways once before? Well, if you hate me so much, why don't you just get out of my life already? Oh, I could never do such a thing to the young heiress. If I did, you would cry yourself to sleep every night. No, I wouldn't. If you weren't always around. But what of that time I was made to leave on some minor business for a few days, and when I had returned? Ah, you're so annoying! The young heiress has such charming reactions. Oh, I swear I'll pay her back for this someday. Chat, have you ever seen the full image of Tenchi Yamero? Let me see if I can find it. Tenchi crying. Touhou. Let me see if I can find it. I found it. I found it. Yeah, sure. Alright. Yeah. There it is. That's the full image. You broke her Iku doll. Sadness. Sadness. Alright. Time to go. To the holding cell. Scarlet Devil Mansion. Wait. I don't even know who the defendant is. I did wonder what sort of suspicious individual will be fine waiting here. Surely it's not Marissa again, right? But you are just about the last person I expected. Oh shit. Oh chat, who could it be? I hope it's Futo. Oh, it's Yomo. Say what you like, but I did not get myself arrested solely to surprise you, I promise. Alright, well that was still unexpected. However, I also could never have imagined you of all people would be accused of a crime, Miss Konpaku. Obviously, I haven't done anything. There are all these false accusations. Well, just tell me the whole story for the time being. We know next to nothing at the moment. Yes, I understand. It seems the incident occurred in Aya's office. Aya's office. Yes, from what I hear, paper was stolen from there. Paper? Yes, paper. It was quite the considerable amount, too. It's to be used in printing her newspaper, they said. But why would anyone believe you ever steal something like that? I do not understand it at all myself. I never intended to use her paper, and yet... could you please explain everything in order? Yes. Last night, I noticed the papering on one of our shoji screen doors at Hakigokuro was torn, and so I went to our storehouse to look for paper with which to mend the shoji. As it turned out, we did have a stack of paper there, so I used it to repaper the screens. But while I was at work, Aya dropped it from the sky and began accusing me of stealing from her. Whoa. I don't understand a thing. As I have said, I do not understand either. The crux is whether that paper came from Aya's office, and there's no way anyone could tell that. No, it seems there isn't any doubt on this point. How can this be? I was told the paper smelled of Aya's office, by Momiji no less. No, you can't, that's not evidence. An improperly cared shoji can turn into the Tsukumogami Moku Mokuren, which will peep at you through the holes. That's a pretty good way to get people to fix that shit, huh? You'll spawn a creature that stares at you through peepholes. That's fucking creepy. Ha, I see. Aya's one thing, but I can't imagine Momiji would ever lie about something like this. Quite right. You both can say the harshest things so casually, I'm almost envious. Is that it, though? I do have one question. Ask away. Had there not been any paper in your storehouse, what would you have done about it? If we had none left, I would have to go buy some. Where do you usually buy paper for your shoji? Korindo. That's where I usually purchase whatever daily necessities we lack. I see. A note on shoji paper. Yomo typically purchases the paper from Hakigokuro shoji screens, doors, and walls from Korindo. But it would be very strange for you to steal paper of all things. Naturally, there's no reason I had to steal it. And that would suggest the true culprit is still at large. However, their motive almost certainly has nothing to do with mending your shoji. Indeed, I very much doubt their ultimate goal was to aid in the renovation of Hakigokuro. The perpetrator's motive, In any case, it seems we have no choice but to pay Miss Shimemaru's office a visit. If it is the scene of the crime, there's no way around it. Tenshi, will I be alright? If you are truly innocent, then you have nothing to fear. Yes, of course. Thank you very much. You can tell me that again once I've won your acquittal. Understood. I will place myself in your care then. You'll not regret it. Alright. I am now your lawyer. Start talking. It is true that the shoji was torn up, but I would never steal someone else's paper to mend it. Well, that would be a very strange thing to do. As I thought, this whole tale feels entirely unnatural. And since it's so unnatural, it's surely going to be tiresome to argue in court. So this is the written request from my defense. Well, I suppose it is. This is my first time seeing one. A request from my own defense. And what's so fascinating about it? I guess we go to the scene of the crime. I can't believe it. The Shimemaru Law Office is the scene of the crime, and it's not the hub. I still can't believe it. Why does this have to happen that day? That article was going to be a masterstroke for me. Can you even begin to understand my misery, Tenshi? I'll understand anything you want, so can it be my turn to ask some questions now? That's right. It means nothing to someone like you. But one day you too will know the abject misery of being made to watch the work you poured your heart and soul into go to waste. Mark my words! It's no use. She's off in her own little world. I feel it'd be best not to have anything to do with Miss Shimemaru today. Even then, she's allegedly the victim, so we have to deal with her, like it or not. For now, just tell me what happened. In brief. Fine, I will. About last night. I was following up on a scoop, a momentous top-class scoop. I'd finished up the draft for my article, but it turned out that all-important foundation, the paper... Wait, what happened with the newspaper in the end? I haven't been able to issue it yet. Without any paper, I'm stuck sitting on my hands. What can I say? It's quite a pity. By the way, you're certain your paper was stolen? Of course I am. I was sitting by my desk when I left the office that day. And didn't it turn up in Yomu's hands? But you never actually saw Yomu stealing it from here yourself, did you? I have a question. I have a very important question. Why did Aya think to go to Hakugokuro in the first place? She had absolutely zero idea who could have stolen her paper. Why did she go to Hakugokuro? Well, that's true, but how else would it end up there unless she stole it? To begin with, could your paper really have been stolen so easily? Right, it's not the kind of thing I thought anyone would want to steal, so I don't lock it away or anything. And Momiji was in the office when I left, so I didn't lock up the front door either. But if Miss Momiji was in, shouldn't she have seen the culprit? No, seems like she was napping in the next room over when it happened. Which was why this crime went off without a hitch. I still don't believe it! Just remembering it is making me angry. Well, there's no reason you should point that anger at me this time. Chasing half phantoms. For now, I understand your paper must have been stolen, but how did you trace it back to Yomu? When I realized someone must have taken my paper, I grabbed Momiji and we rushed out to look for them. Look for them? Wait, by them you mean the culprit? That's right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How are you even going to find the culprit without any leads? Well, I guess I wasn't thinking straight at the time. But I had Momiji help, and we flew all over against Sokyo. And then when we happened to pass by Hakugokuro, we saw Yomu repapering a shoji screen. Oh, so it was coincidence. So when you investigated, you found that the paper she was using was the one taken from your office. Exactly. But that makes no sense. If she just needed to fix a shoji, why would she steal someone else's paper to do it? I don't know Yomu's circumstances, and I couldn't care less either way. Putting it that way sounds terribly cold. The point is, Yomu took this paper from my office, and then she used it. No matter how you look at it, she's the culprit. We haven't learned much of anything yet. I agree, but I doubt you can have a proper conversation with Miss Shimemaru under these circumstances. In which case, we can only hope that other Tengu will prove more helpful. The other Tengu, huh? To think my precious paper was wasted like this. Honestly, I feel like the paper would be better off as part of Hakigokuro's walls than I as rumor mill. But if I went and said it out loud, I'd only be throwing oil on a fire. Or in this case, maybe I should say I'd be throwing paper on a fire. Oh, aren't you so clever in your own head? Are you serious about this, Tenchi? You're going to defend Yomu? I wish I could say it's only a joke as well, but this is a request from the Yama, so there's no help in it. Well, you can try as hard as you like, but I promise you, you won't succeed this time. All of the prosecutors you've defeated felt the same way, I'm sure. Just got a point. You know what you're walking into, right? The Waterfall of Nine Heavens. We're here to talk to Momiji. I'd hoped to find that white wolf Tengu around here. But there is no one in sight. She must be on patrol. I wanted to hear her side of the story, but it seemed all we can do is come back another time. There's one more area I could go. Yeah, in here. Hakyugokoro. Honestly, why do the stairs here have to be so long? You can fly, but alright. But we flew here, so what does it matter to us? Never mind, Tenchi just likes complaining. It's the principle of the thing. As I thought, I still do not understand. Oh my, do we have guests? You will have to forgive us. Without Yomo here, I fear I cannot show you the hospitality you deserve. Seems that princess won't be getting any housework done if Yomu doesn't come back. We have been entrusted with Miss Konpaku's defense. Oh yes, I heard as much. Now I may not be able to offer you any tea or snacks or clues, but you are welcome to have a rest here. Ah, damn it. Where do I even begin with her? Tell me about Yum. There's one thing I have to ask you. Do you think Yomu is the culprit? How could I say? I know nothing about the incident. But she's your very own servant. How can you act so carefree about this? Whoever the accused is, a crime is a crime. She would know, by the way. If she truly is innocent, then you must prove it. Then, Lady Ieko, do you know of anything that might help prove Yomu's innocence? It is as I told you, I know nothing of this incident. You will find neither tea nor snacks nor clues here. But don't you know Yomu better than anyone? I suppose that is true. At least I must know her better than you do. Then you should have some inkling of how Yomu was feeling that day, or what she was thinking. Oh yes, there is one thing that comes to mind. But I doubt it has anything to do with the case. Anything is fine. We will take whatever information we can have. Yesterday, that girl was acting a little bit off, you see. I would say she seemed strangely restless. She was restless. When I asked her about it, she said nothing was wrong. So whatever it was that was bothering her, she did not want me to know about it. And that was yesterday, the day of the incident. That's right. However, it was still before sunset then, and the incident occurred at night, didn't it? And so I feel it must be unrelated. At any rate, it could not have been related to shoji paper, could it? Well, that does sound unlikely. It might be worth consulting Miss Konpaku about this ourselves. Right. Alright. Check this shit out. I leave management of the house's upkeep to Yomu, so I'm afraid I cannot tell you anything. Why, you? Can you not do anything without Yomu? Maybe so. Where do I start? No, should I even start to begin with? I can't figure out anything anymore! Suppose I'd say something appropriate as that girl's employer. Please take good care of our Yomu, Miss Attorney. Yes, I will. When it's her saying it, I somehow feel less encouraged than before. Alright, now I have to go talk to Yomu. Typewriter! Speed! Ah, Tenchi, have you found some new lead? Well, it might be best if I don't answer that question. That does not inspire much confidence. Hardly a surprise, I am not feeling much confidence. Will I truly be alright? I heard from Ieko just a moment ago that you seemed strangely restless in the evening before the incident. Eh? That isn't true. But isn't it your master saying so? That is, I was my usual self. So nothing out of the ordinary happened yesterday. Nothing at all. Please believe me. She's obviously shaken. but we have nothing with which to guess the truth. It can't be helped, so we'll have to wait for later. Alright. I guess now we walk around. Ayaya. There we go. Speed it up. They let her keep her sword. Yeah? Don't worry about it. Listen, if you've ever played Phoenix Wright, it's too much work to remove elements of the character. It's too much work to remove the elements of the characters, like, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure in Rise of the Ashes, in the credit scene, Marshall's in, like, the detention center, and he's shaving his face with a knife. So he's just got a knife in the detention center, which, you know, that's not allowed. But, who cares? It's Phoenix Wright. I thought the other Tengu would be around here. Oh, is that not her standing over there? Ah, so it is. Hey, over here. Ah, Miss Tenshi, is something wrong? That's my line. What are you doing, roaming all over the mountain like this? Oh, well, since Aya is just impossible to deal with today, I made a tactical withdrawal for a little bit. So you too are having a hard time, miss. It's not so bad. Whenever I feel down, I forget all about it once I'm with Notori. Such a heartwarming friendship. And what were you two doing together today? We didn't really do anything in particular. Her experiments are just always fun to watch. Experiments. Notori hasn't given up on forensic investigations yet, so she's doing all kinds of things on her own. Oh, are we getting luminol and fingerprint powder? Let's get it. Just recently, she was doing experiments on how to tell who a bloodstain came from. Yeah, luminol, baby! Is such a thing even possible? She says it is. She's even putting out advertisements in the newspapers as a forensic investigator for hire. And has she had any takers? Nope, not a single client has come. But Notori told me she's only doing it as a hobby, so she isn't too worried about it. Is that so? But, did you have any other business with me? Chat, I don't think Rumia has ever shown up in this game, huh? It's kind of lame. I suppose we did. Ow. Why is the music here so loud? If it's about that incident in the office, I don't know much of anything about it either. I'm usually back home before night falls to begin with. Huh. But don't you live together with Aya? Why would you think that? Well, it's true I do end up spending most of my days at Aya's office lately. However, we heard that when Miss Konpaku was caught, you were also there. Oh, yeah. But that's only because I stayed in the office by chance that night. But then you should have witnessed the crime! No, I didn't witness anything, crime or otherwise. Anything? I was putting the office in order during the daytime. If I let her be, Aya just ends up leaving all kinds of things scattered all over the place. I suppose she is a crow after all. Wait, does that mean Aya likes collecting shiny things? It took me until the sun had set to finally get it done, and by that point I was totally worn out. I'd fallen asleep in the office before I knew it. And so the paper was stolen without you noticing. Yeah, that's right. Well, I was sleeping, and in the next room over at that, so there was no way I would ever notice anything. Yeesh, so there's no clue to be found here either. A scoop. Incidentally, do you know what the scoop Aya wanted to make an article of was? Oh yeah, she made me listen to that too. Could you tell me about the content of that article? But it'll be bad for Aya if I leak information. It's very possible what was written in that article has a connection to this case. Well, why would that be? When you consider causes and effects, that this incident has been one clear consequence. I didn't read the word. And that's, I shouldn't need to say it. It is that Aya was unable to issue her newspaper. In other words, that might have been the culprit's goal all along. Don't you think that's plausible? So the thief's motive was to obstruct Miss Shimemaru's reporting. Is that what you mean? It would certainly make more sense than papering a shoji, wouldn't you agree? I can't argue with that. Thank you, Lydiata, for the resub. In order to keep Aya from making that story public, the paper that would be used to print it was stolen. And if that's the case, we have to look into what was written in that article. All our other leads were dead ends, so we have no choice but to follow up on this one. Can you please help? Alright, but I don't know all the details either. You did sleep through most of that evening after all. Yeah, so I only did a period about that article this morning. And I wasn't told all that much. It's fine, just tell me what you can. Prying anything out of Aya as she is now feels impossible. I guess so. From what I could gather, this was some kind of incident near a hot spring last night. Would that be one by the geyser by any chance? That's the one. Someone broke a sign pointing to it. Broke a sign? Who would do that? That's the big question. No one gained anything from doing something like that, and it sounds like almost nobody walks by there in the evenings to begin with. And on top of it, whoever did it went out of their way to smash the sign to pieces, so it couldn't have been just an accident. Excuse me? And Aya thought she was going to turn a nonsense story like that into a momentous article? Yes, that's what she said. If that is all, I do not see why anyone would want to steal paper to keep this from being published. Leaving that aside, there are reporters other than Aya. Would there really be any point in sabotaging her and her alone? Now that you mention it, it might have something to do with that. And what might that be? From the way Aya was talking about it, it sounded like she had an idea who broke the sign. Oh, hold on. My headphone wire is a little bit tangled up, so I have to fix it real quick. What did you say? But I couldn't get her to tell me. There we go. Dude, my microphone is like a fucking spark amp waiting to go off. But I couldn't get her to tell me. So then Aya figured out the culprit herself. At least I think that's what she thinks. At least I think that she thinks she did. There we go. And so you mean to say it might be that Aya's hunch was on the mark. And so the culprit, afraid the truth would be exposed, took the initiative and prevented the newspaper from being published. Therefore, the thief who stole the paper is also the one who destroyed that sign. It would be reasonable to think so. No way. If only I paid more attention back then. But in the state Aya is in now, I doubt there's any way she'll be telling us, even if we ask nicely. True enough. She is utterly convinced Miss Konpaku is the thief. I don't think Aya will ever let valuable info like that leak in the first place. And that's where we stand? In? You mean if, right? If that's where we stand? I'm gonna assume that's what it means. I'll have to find her myself, the true culprit. Okay. I don't know why, but certain parts of my hand conduct electricity at the base of my microphone. Hot spring pass. Seriously, don't ask me why. I have no fucking clue. It only happens sometimes, but like, why is there an electric current running through that? So this is the other crime scene. And as we were told, it is in pieces. The sign. Like Momiji said, this doesn't look like an accident. However, that only makes it harder to understand. Exactly. I can't imagine who could even gain anything from doing something like this. At any rate, let us have a closer look. Look at that sign, dude. It's in fucking pieces. Somehow that signpost left standing uselessly by itself makes this place feel even more desolate. It seems the top part of the post snapped off as well. It just gets more and more pitiful, doesn't it? But then that would mean the sign must have been taller than it appears now, would it not? Right, if you consider the part that broke off, that would make it about chest high. The signpost was added to the court record. Signpost. A post the Hot Springs advertising sign was once nailed to, the top was broken off entirely. The whole thing would have been about chest high. The ground wire in the mic is misplaced using his body or whatever contacts as a replacement. I have no idea. The microphone is very old though. It's the microphone I bought when I first started doing this, so it's 3 years old. I said before I want to get a new one. But I want a higher quality one. But you know, this one still works, so I'm not urgent to replace it. Also, I don't really have the money to throw around to replace something like that right now because my money is going towards other things. Check this shit out. I have nothing to say to you. What? How dare you? What about you? Forgive me, but I do not understand. I don't either. I think that's the only thing I can actually search. Yeah, it is. Huh. Oh, I didn't even notice that first option there. Geyser Hot Spring. It's alright, chat. When September rolls around, we're gonna roll out that September, and it's gonna help me, I hope. It'll alleviate the wallet drain, because let me tell you, some of the things I do for the stream are not cheap, chat. Alright, they're not cheap. Oh, that's Miss Izayoi and Miss Oren. Oh, it's you two. We meet again. It seems that as long as they keep holding these trials, we will keep running into one another. Well, we are the police, so it's simply inevitable. But it is truly alright for you to be dawdling here. Weren't you put in charge of Yomu's case? I believe that case is connected to what happened here. And while we're on that topic, shouldn't you be looking into Yomu's case too? Miss Patchouli is handling the investigation of anything that concerns today's trial herself. They truly must be short-handed. There's only the two of them here. By the way, can I go home yet? Just standing around like this gets to be pretty tiring. Please do excuse us. If possible, could you tell us what happened here as well? Well, if you're asking, then I won't say no. Now then, where to begin? First of all, what are you doing here? Is that how you say hello? I apologize. The young heiress does not mean to offend. She is merely entirely devoid of common decency. Be quiet. Well, whatever. I don't really care. The geyser here is this underworld dweller's responsibility, so this building's our turf. But since Oku has to stay down below to do her work, Mr. Tori doesn't like to come up to the surface. I'm the one who has to manage the place. I see. So you were here when the incident occurred. Nah, I was taking care of other stuff. Underground. I can't be here round the clock, and a lot of the time, no one's watching the building. So because of that, we just made it so anyone can bathe here for free. Is that so? Still, I haven't got much else I can tell you guys about this hot spring. Hold up. I can give you a floor plan if you want. Thanks, I'll take it. Added the hot spring floor plan to the court record. The floor plan of the geyser hot spring building, the square marks are doors. A central lobby connects the changing rooms, a storeroom, and a restroom. Men's bath, women's bath. Changing room, lobby. I can't read the other rooms. Too small. Is that all? As if smashing the signboard wasn't enough, they went and busted the post in half, too. So I'm gonna have to get a new post carved up on top of everything else. I see your troubles are only piling up. For real, they got me working like a dog. Even though she's a cat? Is that it, Oren? I guess that's it. Alright. Check this out. Forgive me, but I do not understand. Neither do I. I have nothing to say to you. Momiji? Could you show me? I don't really know. Alright, I'm missing something. Alright, let's go back. Yeah, I haven't got a clue. I've actually gotten complaints from some visitors. What kind of complaints? If you look at the plan, you'll see the restroom doesn't connect to the changing rooms. And because of that, it's a bit of a pain to have to walk through the lobby if you need to go to the toilet. Well, that is some inconvenient design. Truth is, it's more troublesome to make separate restrooms for both men and women, so it turned out like this. How very down to earth. Can I have more information? The entrance to the hot spring, well, I suppose that went without saying. Looks well built, but it's the inside that counts. Wouldn't you agree? How confusing. Okay. You? Don't know anything about this. Don't know anything about this. I don't see anything. Let's go. Let's go home. No? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Aya's work desk. I think we're... Chot! Chot! Uh-oh. It's not good. She doesn't want to talk to me. Hotel is entirely unnatural. Tiresome in court. Yes. There's another object on the path. Dude, I moved my mouse over that shit like crazy and I didn't see anything. You can't see my mouse, but the only thing it highlights onto is the sign. Looks like a jigsaw puzzle now. Well, this is not here for fun and games. Still, who on earth would do such a thing? What's the matter, Lady Heen and I? It's nothing, just something seems off here. Something off? I cannot say I've noticed anything. What could it be? I feel like something isn't right with this scene. In that case, should we try resembling the sign? Are you telling me because I searched the post, but I actually just searched the pieces on the post? Right, should we? Reassemble the sign. Do it. Fine, let's put it back together again. The trick is to start from the edges. But I think this puzzle is all edge. Oh, puzzles! Puzzles! Hot spring. Failed. Failed. Puzzles! It's just like I thought. We are clearly missing a piece. But why? Right? That is still the question. The simplest explanation is someone took that piece, and there must be a reason why they took only one. But there's more to note about this sign besides that. Ah, yes, the G at the right edge is badly smudged. So what does that mean? Anything? Broken signboard. Hot spring. 10 paces ahead. A sign advertising nearby hot spring is smashed to pieces and one of them is missing. The paint on the right side is also smudged. 10 paces is 10 steps. You really put a sign 10 steps away? Are you sure about this? Hell of a thing, am I right? I put lots of work into making that. And now I gotta make a new one all over again. Eh? You made the sign yourself. Sure did. It's a new sign I finished to put up the very same day this mess happened. Is that the truth? The paint wasn't quite dry yet, and that's how new it is. Wait a minute, then that smudged letter. Someone must have pressed against it really hard. That's gotta leave a mark. And this could turn out to be a clue. The paint on the right end is smudged light because someone brushed against it. Oh. Can you find out who might have come to the hot spring yesterday? That'd be tough. Like I said, I wasn't around back then. Even so, would visitors to the hot spring have anything to do with the incident? We can't be sure of that, but the scene is a place people normally wouldn't go to, right? This hot spring is the only landmark anywhere nearby. If there are still leads to be found, they'd be here. Come to think of it. Back then, Miss Satori and little Miss Koishi might have been in the bath. Miss Satori? The two of them were supposed to come here that evening. So maybe they know something. I see. Then I'll have to pay them a visit. Oh, underground. Chiriden! Oh, baby. Haven't been here in a while. I was hoping I wouldn't ever have to come here. This is for the sake of the investigation. It cannot be helped. I just don't want to see Satori. It will be fine. Aside from Miss Satori, there are countless others who have good reason to think poorly of you, Lady Hidenai. How is that supposed to make me feel better? Now we must go. Time keeps on slipping away while you drag your feet. I know. Interior. Yeah, I mean, this is the interior, but really, why was the first room we walk into her bedroom? It's been a while, Satori. It certainly has been, since that incident. That was about half a year ago, wasn't it? It was. Time passes quickly. Please, you can put it all out of your mind. I'm relieved to see you, if anything. You seem to sincerely regret what you've done. If you didn't, I wouldn't allow you to stand here like this. Her tone is soft, but her gaze still feels like she's trying to stab through me. So she can't possibly have completely forgiven me just like that. Miss Satori, we are? Yes, I know, but I do not have any information you might find useful. For now, I only need you to answer some questions. Well, I do not mind. Her skirt is blue. How interesting. Also, this is the most purple I've ever seen her hair in fandom. Now, hold on. Let me... I should have an image. Let me see. Do I have an image to compare this to on hand? I hope I do. TH11? Yes, I do. Okay. Here's Satori, right? Her little T-Rex arms. Alright. So here's the thing about Satori. Her hair is very purple. Her hair is very purple, right? Like, I think it's pretty hard to argue that that hair color is not purple. But, in like every single piece of fandom media you see of Satori, her hair is some shade of pink. I mean, there's an emote right there in chat you can look at as well. But the thing is, the pink just feels like perfectly natural. But this Satori here is like way more on the purple end, and it looks more accurate to her official art. Actually, now that I think about it, aside from the cord coloration, well, actually no, because also the frills are the wrong color and the skirt's the wrong color, but it gets the hair right. It does get the hair right. Pink and blue go well together. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's just interesting that Satori's hair color, I would argue, is definitely more purple than pink. But every single, like, piece of fan material you see of Satori has her with some shade of pink hair. Koishi's a little similar. Koishi's hair is very bright green in canon, but I guess Hopeless Masquerade... Not Hopeless Masquerade, sorry. Actually, maybe. But the fighting games in general, they made Koishi's hair a much deeper green, so it's, you know, it stands out more. Satori never really got that chance, but I'm pretty sure Satori shows up in Hopeless Masquerade, right? Satori... Touhou. Let me see. She does. She does show up in Hopeless Masquerade, and honestly, her hair is actually... It's definitely pink, but it's really small. It's really small, and it's kind of, it's kind of darker. It's a darker shade of pink. Her eyes are also, like, blue, essentially. But I think that's just because the sprite is so small. Anyways. Back to the video game. I don't understand why Lyrica's hair turned brown when it's, like, very clearly silver. Well, the thing is, Koishi's hair is very bright, but in the fighting games, it does match a deeper green. So, the fighting games are canon. But I like to think that, you know, they might have been slightly influenced by other elements. But I don't understand, I don't really understand why Lyrica's hair went from, like, silver to brown. You know, the wiki describes Lyrica's hair as light brown. I just don't see that at all. It doesn't make any sense to me how anyone could look at her hair and classify it as light brown. If by light brown you mean the entirety of the brown color is devoid of her hair, then yeah, sure, it's light brown. Remy's hair too? Okay, Remy's hair is a bit interesting, yeah, because Remy's hair is sometimes blue and sometimes purple. And fandom kind of does one Remy over the other, depending on what your preference is. My preference, personally, is blue-haired Remy, but purple-haired Remy is fine. Yesterday, you went to that hot spring. I noticed nothing unusual. You're really certain about that? Yes, I'm very sorry to say, but I do not know anything that might be of help to you. And were there no other visitors to the baths at that time? As things stand, we know of only you and your sister. Oh, that's right. We share the bath with a dog-eared girl from Yoden Temple. Kyoko? Dog-eared girl? Unfortunately, her name slipped my mind. Perhaps you mean Miss Kyoko Kasodani? Who's that? Have you forgotten already? She was involved in that uproar about treasure maps that was in the papers. I do remember something like that. It seems she waits for shouts to echo on Yokai Mountain some days, so maybe you'll have better luck there. Very well, it is worth a try. Anything else? I still feel like I've done something truly wrong to you and your sister. It was quite a shock. A letter arrived out of the blue saying Koichi had attacked someone, and from the moment on I was under your thumb. I really am sorry. Koichi and I have been despised for the power we were born with for as long as I can remember. But because of this, I've already become long accustomed to that sort of hardship. Who are you trying to convince here? Come to think of it, I have not met your sister yet. When that girl slips into the unconscious, there is no telling where she might be. She could even be here with us in Chittenden right now, and I would have no way to know. You wouldn't know, even though she's your sister? When Koichi closed her third eye, her mind was closed to me as well. I haven't known how I should approach her since. But back when that incident happened half a year ago, you only did what you did to protect Koichi. I'm sure she realizes her sister was looking out for her. There isn't any way she couldn't be glad about that. Actually, she came to court for you, didn't she? That may be true, but there's something the matter. Ever since that day, every time I've been with Koichi, she's appeared a little sad. And I falter whenever I make up my mind to ask why. We've only become more estranged as a result. Dear me. It's begun to worry Oren as well, and so she suggested we both go to the hot spring together. Which was why you went there yesterday. Yes, it said that a hot bath soothes a tired body and heart both. But I still couldn't say a word to Koichi the whole time we were in there. That's a bit too complicated for me to untangle. Miss Satori, do you have an inkling where we might find your sister now? If I remember right, I think I last spotted her down in the courtyard earlier today. Although I very much doubt she is still there. Then for now, let's have a look in the courtyard, just in case. I thought that was the courtyard. I was gonna start searching. Chat, what's in the tree? And Koichi is not here. Or perhaps she is here, but we are not conscious of it. That must make for a frightfully low encounter rate. Yeah, it is 5% in the game, huh? Then she surely must be the sort who yields a trove of experience points on defeat. Well, never mind that. There's no point in us staying here if we can't find her. Quite so. All we can do is investigate elsewhere. There's something caught in this tree's branches. Yes, I can see that. Iku, what are you waiting for? Ah, yes, I must be the one to go and get it. No one else could possibly do this. Well, it appears to be some of Miss Satori's laundry. Perhaps it slid off while drying on the balcony. I suppose it's up to us to return it then. Indeed. There's something on the skirt. So there is, but what is it? It's stained black. It seems to have not come out of the wash, quite the stubborn stain. Now what could this be? Satori's clothes. Picked up and cheated in courtyard, a large black stain has been left on the skirt. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, evidence! Here, check this out. This fell in the courtyard. Oh, well, I'm sorry to have troubled you. By the way, miss, there is some sort of black stain on this skirt. Ah, that's right. I actually do not know where it came from either. I only noticed it when I took these off to put them in the laundry yesterday. Wait a minute, you mean these are the clothes you were wearing yesterday? Yes, that is what I said. So she wore these clothes on the day of the incident. This might be a clue after all. You're getting ahead of yourself. What is something like this ever going to prove? Then you won't mind if I hold on to these until the case is solved. After all, if this cannot become evidence, there shouldn't be any reason for you to refuse. Fine, by all means, keep them. Borrowed Satori's clothes for a little while. Nice! Alright. There she is. Present Satori's clothes to Iku. Okay, I can do that. What? Wait! Honestly, is she ignoring me? Perhaps she never noticed we were there. Or perhaps she's avoiding us on purpose. You must be imagining things. Well, if we can't get her to talk to us, doesn't matter which it is. Time to return to heaven. Check it out. You truly do enjoy showing this off, do you not? It's nothing like that. You are feeling bashful again. I'm not bashful. I have nothing else to add, I'm afraid. Nothing to add. It's a pitiful sight no matter how many times I look at it. It looks as if Marissa went through it. That couldn't be, right? What lovely clothing. I suppose it is. These heart-shaped buttons are especially charming. All those hearts are far too cutesy for my taste. So you say, but in truth, you want to try it on yourself. No, I don't. Would she look good in that? Maybe. It's possible. The waterfall. Outfit swaps are always a fun little thing. Yahoo! Well, what's an infernal noise? Could it be that the great king of terror has passed into this fantasy at last? This isn't the time for jokes. Visitors! Hello and welcome! As always, you are listening to the one and only Yamabiko. Be quiet, or at least don't talk so loud. That's not right. I have to give a proper introduction. If you introduce yourself this loudly, my hearing won't even make it to the end. But that leaves an impression, doesn't it? The worst kind of impression. And we never even got around to it. What's your name? My name's Kyoko Kasudani. I've got it. Now shut up. Shut up? It's not fair. Why do I have to be the one who feels guilty here? If it's not too much bother, could you spare some time to speak with us? Yep, it'd be a pleasure. Whew, let's hope we don't need to hear her testify. Now, did you go to the hot spring last night? Oh, yeah, I did. What about it? Do you remember who else was in the bath with you? It was Miss Satori and her sister in the bath. So there was only the three of you, including you, miss? Yep, only the three of us. That's it. And did anything remarkable happen while you were in the hot springs? Remarkable? There was one thing. What is it? Why do I feel so tired? While we were in the bath, Miss Satori went back to the changing room just once. And she stepped out for a moment, but she came back after a little bit. I think Miss Satori had to go to the toilet. Don't shout that for everyone to hear. Don't? Well, at least we now know Satori did get out of the bath at one point. That might be significant. Ah! Aren't those Miss Satori's clothes? They are. What's up with that? Why did you steal Miss Satori's clothes? Yeah, I put all the links to the translation in the VODs. But nobody reads the description. Ha 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 ha. Dang nabbit, nobody reads the manual. What's up with that? Why'd you steal Miss Satori's clothes? Don't make up strange rumors about people, and don't shout them either. There's gotta be more informations. Give me more informations, Kyoko. Oh no! Even if you show me, I don't really know! It's been smashed to smithereens! I'd appreciate it if you didn't try to smash my eardrums to smithereens to match. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you mean. I'm telling you to be quiet! Oh no, even if you show me, I don't really know. That's it? Alright. Do not understand. Don't touch me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. There's so many places to go, dude. Oh, back already? I thought you might have found some new clues. I regret to say that little progress has been made so far. For now, I have gathered the testimony of various people in order to get a rough idea of the time of the crime. I see. So have you made any discoveries on your end? Well, I wouldn't say we've made zero. In that case, will you please tell me what you found? After all, we are working different cases today. I will also share what I have gathered on my end. If both investigations have stalled due to a lack of leads, it'd be best for us to join forces, wouldn't you agree? Join forces with her? Still, it is true we've reached a deadlock. Maybe I should show her the clues I've found since. So then, you've managed to narrow down the time of the crime. According to what Oren relayed to me from Miss Satori, the Komeiji sisters passed by the sign on their way here. At that time, it was still intact, and this would have been before 7 o'clock that evening. Afterwards, someone who happened on the scene by chance witnessed the broken sign around 7:20. Which would mean the crime was committed at some point within that window. Yes, by the by, Miss Satori said they left the hot spring around 7:30 and first learned of the incident then. Chat, when's Comic-Con? That's next week, right? Or is that this weekend? Wait a minute. When does 18.5 come out? So this all took place while Satori was soaking in the hot spring. That is what I have discovered so far. The 14th comes out next week. What's on my calendar? Well, I'm gonna be busy on the 13th and the 14th. Okay. My turn to share information then. Have a look. These are the clothes Satori was wearing on the day of the incident here. So, Comic-Con is this weekend. Okay. The OSD's 20th anniversary is the 11th. Indeed, however, we are not certain what it is. I'm assuming the Steam version will go up a little bit after the physical version is all said and done. But I have a feeling I'll be able to play the game on Monday. It won't be translated. It won't be translated, but I don't think I need the game to be translated to play it. So I'll if I can get my hands on it, I'll play it next week for sure. I'm not gonna wait for the translation. I'm gonna check it out. Indeed, however, we are not certain what it is. Don't worry though, Twitter will spoil the new character for sure. So keep in mind, Denny. It appears to be black paint. How'd you know? You can call it intuition if you like. It is my knowledge, my experience as a maid that tells me so. Somehow I feel like I understand perfectly. Leaving that aside, Lady Hina and I, that black paint could only be. Something definitely comes to mind. Little by little, the pieces are coming together. I just hope the game is good. That's all. It'd be cool to see a new character, but mostly we are gonna get new music. We're also gonna get information on why Marissa looks so different in the title screen. Not that I could read it though. Odin. Come to think of it, Miss Horn is nowhere to be seen. Since I received all the testimony I needed from her, I let her return home. But you still haven't made much progress. Yes, all the same, she was not here at the time of the incident. This location seems to receive little traffic to begin with. Honestly, with how few clues we have so far, this mystery might have to remain unsolved. It certainly is mysterious. New lore. Really, why would anyone do such a thing? Isn't it your job to figure this out? I expect a perfect solution. Didn't you know, Miss Hina and I, for us earthly beings, doing a perfect job is an impossibility. What a perfect and elegant excuse. Your last defense was truly splendid, I must say, and I am not the only one who thinks so. Even though we are so short-handed, when Miss Patchouli realized you would most likely be your opponent this time, she rushed to the case. Don't you think it's because you're short-handed and rushing that you keep arresting the wrong people? Don't say that, though. What about this? Oh. What about this? What about this? That's all the informations. There you go. I'm looking forward to it. I am. I just hope it's good. That's all. I just hope it's good. I don't really have like ridiculous expectations or anything like that. I simply hope that it's good. Guess we'll go back to Cheetah. There's so many locations to go to, dude. Okay, found it. Oh, you've returned. I have something I need to discuss with you. I see you've decided to suspect me again. There really is no keeping secrets from you. I am terribly sorry about that. This is what it means to read minds. I don't even know when the Yuma update for 17.5 is coming out. Just fell in the courtyard. Oh, whoops. I thought that would give me new informations. Okay. The time of the crime. According to Kyoko's testimony, you went back to the changing room in the middle of your bath. And then after a little while, you returned. That is true, but... And that means you could have gone out of the hot spring at the time the incident happened outside. I don't need to explain how that might be a problem, do I? That's just a baseless accusation. I did nothing strange. However, where did you go then? I was... Can't answer. I had to use the restroom. What's wrong with her? What's with her? This isn't anything worth getting this embarrassed over. It's because I can't know what you might go around telling other people. Just how much of a child do you think I am? For now, can you tell me everything you did after you entered the hot spring in sequence? Yes. KS. Koichi and I came to the hot spring together. Koichi went into the changing room ahead of me and the clothes basket, got undressed, and entered the bath. Afterwards, I did the same. By the way, did you have a separate basket? No, there would have been no point in using 2 baskets. I placed my clothes in the one Koichi left behind. I see. After a little while, I felt the need to use the restroom, so I went out of the bath. I took care of my business and returned to the bath. I remained in there until I left with Koichi. Tori undressed in the changing room after her sister put her clothes in their shared basket and stepped in the bath. She had to go to the bath once later in order to use the restroom. So she'll keep insisting that she has nothing to do with it to the very end. Well, obviously the culprit would say that. How can you be so heartless, Tenshi? Haven't you done enough harm already? Miss Satori? I haven't done anything wrong. I've never done anything wrong, so why? Please settle down, miss. No, let me go. I won't go through this again. Just wait a little. I still need you to explain something. Get your hands off of me. Satori? I'm fine. I only stumbled. You are clearly not fine. Look, you're bleeding. This is nothing. Please hold still. I'll staunch that gas with this. Don't touch me, motherfucker. I'll be fine. I don't want your pity. Don't say things like that. We're seriously worried. You don't need to worry for me, so leave me alone. Just get out of my sight. Miss Satori, please wait. She's gone. Damn it. Satori could see everything I was thinking. Maybe I condemned her too harshly in my own mind. But it doesn't make what she did, or its consequences, disappear. Lady Ian and I... There's blood on your handkerchief. What are you gonna do with it? It should come out with a good wash. Rather than that, will you lend it to me? Eh? Wait, what are you planning to do with this? I have business to take care of, so I'll be going. Business? But it will be time for the trial soon. You can go on ahead. I'll join you in the court later. If I run out of time, buy me some. Even for you, this is far too reckless. See ya. Wait, Lady Hinanai. Satori Komeiji, she can read the minds of others. Fighting her in court like normal will be impossible. She will know about any move or trick you try to come up with almost before you do. So in order to have a chance to trap someone like her, I'll need to have a trump card ready ahead of time. I didn't want to have to rely on something like this, but I might have no other way to win. And I can't allow Yomo, who's completely innocent, to go on paying for someone else's crime. The missing piece has been prepared. Forged evidence. The piece of the broken sign that was never found. The red mark at the edge is Satori's blood. Oh no! I gotta turn in my badge! You can't use that, Tenshi! You can't use forged evidence! That's illegal! That's a crime! Seems I made it just in time. Lady Hina and I, thank goodness, I had begun to fear you would not come. You'll have to forgive me, I had to make some last-minute preparations. Tenshi, don't make that face. If you can't even pretend to have some faith in me, you'll hurt my feelings. I apologize. I also have begun to think you'd abandon me to fend for myself. There's no need to worry about that. I'll prove you innocent without fail. And besides, this trial is one I can't afford to miss. What do you mean by that? There's a personal matter I have to settle today. That's nothing you should concern yourself with. Ha! If you say so. This happened before, by the way, chat, if you didn't know. Lady Hinanai Court is about to open. Then shall we go, Yomu? Yes, I am in your hands, Tenshi. I actually have an idea of what's gonna happen here. Does Yukari and chat. In the gallery where Satori and Koichi usually are, it was Yukari and Aya. So, this has actually happened in Phoenix Wright before. This is a spoiler, of course, but it's for the first case of Apollo Justice, where you do end up using forged evidence. But the whole point of the forged evidence is that it's evidence that should exist but doesn't exist. But because of the nature of your presenting it, the person you're presenting it to cannot actually like do anything about it, because if they do it, if they make a stink about it being forged evidence, that they would have to explain why. Phoenix did it by accident, yes. The whole point of Apollo Justice is it takes place in the future, where Phoenix was accused of using forged evidence, and it turned out to be true, and he had to he had to give up his badge. But Phoenix didn't do it on purpose. Phoenix was set up by somebody, and then in the first case of Apollo Justice, you hit him right back with some of that good shit. That's Rainbow in the gallery? No, I don't think so. Was it? I saw a little Tengu hat. My preparations are complete. The prosecution also has no delays to report. Apollo Justice is a good game. Very good. In that case, we can move forward with the prosecution's opening statement. Certainly. The incident took place on the night of the 20th of April at the Shimebaru Law Office, otherwise known as the Boom Boom Maru Newspaper HQ or the victim's home. A large amount of paper meant to be used in printing the newspaper was stolen from that place, which in turn made issuing the newspaper impossible. Afterwards, the victim's own investigation led her to the defendant, who was witnessed using the stolen paper, and so she was arrested. Based on the above-mentioned facts, we are charging the defendant with larceny and obstruction of business. Understood. Obstruction of business. Can you call it that when it's only a hobby? That paper has never made any money. Now then, have the arrangements for summoning witnesses been made already? Before we can proceed, the prosecution has questions for the defendant, Yomu Konpaku. Very well. The defendant will take the witness stand. Before that, Iku. A messenger of the Dragon Palace, read Oarfish, who excels at reading the air. I suppose she's my friend, whether I like it or not. The work-averse fairy woman and court bailiff. Today will be another hard day of coming up with excuses to get nothing done, no doubt. Hakigokudo's gardener is this time's defendant. I can already tell we have our work cut out for us, any way you slice it. Nice gag. Hakigokudo's ghost princess, as you would expect from a wraith, she has an elusive, flighty disposition. A Tengu journalist and Gensokyo's one and only official lawyer, but it seems it's her turn to be the plaintiff this time. Aya's assistant, a long-suffering minion, much like Yomu. As expected, she's a rather good judge of character. It was either that, or we're gonna have a meanderful time. It's terrible. Scarlet Devil Station's one and only maid detective also seems terribly overworked, but I suppose it doesn't matter to someone who can manipulate time itself. The cheery corpse thief tackles any task she's given with enthusiasm. That other dead people carrier could stand to learn a lesson from her. The mind reader, shunned and hated by other yokai because of her power. That might be the reason why her relationship with her sister has become warped. The girl who threw away mind reading and was left holding the unconscious in her hand instead. Will the day when her eye can ever open again ever come? Myoden Temple's newest novice, the Yamabiko. The word silence has no place in her dictionary. The Yama in hell, your honor, in the courtroom. When you think about it, it feels like she can't escape her work, be it in this world or the next. The sickly prosecutor, although she no longer feels like that as of late, it seems like her asthma's gotten better. A lot better. Was she only using 1% of her asthma before? What? What kind of line is that? 1% of her asthma. Very well, the defendant will take the witness stand. Alright. Now then, defendant, is it true that on the night of the incident you left your home of Hakigokudo? What? Wait, what? We never heard about anything like this, did we? That is... Which is it, defendant? I was at home the whole time. You see, you intend to go on playing innocent. It's a Nanoha reference? I don't know what Nanoha is. This is my full asthma. What does that even mean? However, that will not do you any favors. At any rate, there was a witness. Eh? As I have said, you left home on the night of the incident, and Yuyuko Saiyoji will testify as much. That's impossible! Is that Reimu? Oh, it is Reimu. Yeah, that's not a Tengu hat. That's a ribbon. And that's brown hair, not black. Order! Defendant, what is the meaning of this? I stayed in Hakigokudo the whole time. Lady Yuyuko could not know if I left anyway, since she was asleep already. Ah! Yes, correct. You waited for her to go to sleep before sneaking out of Hakigokudo. However, she was not, in fact, asleep. She only pretended to go to bed in order to see what you would do. She pretended? According to Yuyuko Saiyoji's testimony, you appeared quite restless yesterday. This aroused her curiosity, and she came up with a plan to discover what was on your mind that evening. That can't be. If you keep up this charade, I am more than ready to call her here to testify. So which will it be? We're off to a great start, I see. Yomu is making the worst first impression imaginable. For now, I have to stop the situation from getting any worse than it already is. Yomu, you need only tell the truth. But... If you are truly innocent, speaking the truth shouldn't do you any harm. Or did you really do it after all? Absolutely not! Then tell me, did you really go out last night? It is true I did leave Hakigokudo just once. But that wasn't to steal any paper. But then what were you up to exactly? I was looking for something. Looking for something? And what was that? I cannot say. It's entirely unrelated to the case. So you were looking for something. Paper for your shoji, perhaps? That's not it. I promise you that wasn't it. Yuyuko did tell us that Yomu seemed strangely restless yesterday. That must have been related to what she was looking for that night. A note on Yomu's search. Yomu was unusually restless the day of the incident. On that night, she made one secret trip out of Hakigokudo in order to look for something. Nevertheless, it has now been shown it would have been possible for the defendant to commit this crime. That is clear enough. Yeesh, she really is a cut above that gatekeeper. And now I would like to summon our first witness to the courtroom. Very well, your witness may take the stand. Ayaya. Witness, state your name and occupation. Aya Shimemoto, I'm a newspaper reporter. Being a lawyer doesn't even get a nod. And you are the victim and plaintiff in this case. Yes, that's right. Just this once, we'll be getting a guilty verdict in here. As she says, on this very special occasion, we will present a united front. I guess so. Why must they only join hands in friendship when it's to get in my way? Then let us see this united front in action without delay. You've got it. This is a weird experience, seeing Aya testify. It was Mion all along. Having finished my news coverage for the day, I returned to the office around 10 in the evening. In the moment, writing an article drawn down was the only thing on my mind, so I didn't notice the crime. But once it was time to put an issue together for printing, I found that all my paper I'd set aside was gone. That paper must have been stolen before I came home. I rushed out in a hurry and flew all over Gensokyo, looking for the criminal. And when I happened on Yomu repapering a shoji, my reporter's intuition cried out. Upon closer examination, it was found that the paper she had was the one stolen from my office. Yomu stole that paper from my office, also she could fix up Hakigokudo's shoji. So you succeeded in finding the criminal. I was just running on desperation back then. I think it was pretty much a miracle myself. I have seen you perform many miracles in this court, and so I am not altogether surprised. No, don't flatter me too much. First a united front, and now miracles. What an obnoxious opponent she is. In any case, the defense may now cross-examine. Understood. Aya, who would have thought we'd do battle here again like this? Alright. Finished my news coverage of the day. I returned to the office around 10 in the evening. Give me that information. You were covering an incident that took place near the Geyser Hot Springs this evening. Yeah, weren't you? So you heard about that. Well, I guess that incident has been drawing plenty of attention. And it took place around 7 o'clock. If you returned around 10, then you must have been out collecting data for a little under 3 hours. That sounds about right. Since it was an incident so scarce in leads, I wanted to find even a little evidence. And for now, we can move on from the topic and focus on the case currently on trial. Excuse me. In the moment writing an article draft down was the only thing on my mind, so I didn't notice the crime. In other words, at the time you came back, you didn't immediately notice your paper had been stolen. Yep, that was words. Yes, to think I'd be so careless. Well, there is no helping it. It is quite easy to neglect that which we take for granted, although that too is a sin. So is this excusable or not? If I may, perhaps that sermon can wait for another time. Indeed. Please continue, witness. But once it was time to put an issue together for printing, I found that all the paper I'd set aside was gone. And around that, what time was that, by the way? I'm sure it was around 11:30. So you came home at 10 and had your article finished by 11:30. Is that a fact? That's right. Well, that's an average time for me. I can't tell if that's too fast or too slow. That paper must have been stolen before I came home. How could you be so certain? You might have gotten so engrossed in your writing you stopped noticing what was happening around you. No, that's just not possible. The paper should have been piled up right next to my desk. Even if I was focused on my writing, if someone had come up to me and hauled it away, I'd definitely notice. Well, I can't hope to argue with that. I rushed out in a hurry and flew over against Sokyo looking for the criminal. All over against Sokyo? Is he just wandering around like a chicken with its head cut off? Well, I was pretty desperate back then. And somehow you ended up at Hakigokuro. I have to admit, it really does sound like a miracle. You see, the trick was, I got Momiji to track the scent of the paper from the office after a bit. What? That's not a miracle at all, then! Why didn't you say so from the beginning? Ha ha ha! The truth is, I didn't even think of it until Momiji suggested it. I was a bit too embarrassed to admit it. Honestly, where would you be without her? And when I have been on Yomu repairing a shoji, my reporter's intuition cried out. So your intuition can cry? No, I just thought it would be a cool thing to say. Can I not exercise my freedom of expression? But I feel that if a newspaper isn't written in the way that even a child can understand it, it's missing the mark. Well, I would believe that falls under the purview of personal liberties. Somehow it just keeps getting murkier. Upon closer examination, it was found the paper she had was the one stolen from my office. You're absolutely sure it was the paper from your office? There's no mistake. I had Momiji smell it. Miss Konpaku said as much when we spoke in her cell. And I don't believe that Wolf Tengu would lie. So it must be the truth. We might need to find another angle of attack. True. Yomu stole that paper from my office, also she could fix up Hakigokuro's shoji. You're going to stand by that. Do you truly think any wholly reasonable person would steal for such a reason? Did you forget? Yomu's half a phantom, so she's only half a reasonable person. What the fuck kind of line is that? What? No, that's not the point. I know that. I was making what's called a play on words. Say what you will, a motive is a motive and there are no other explanations. If you intend to deny it, then I will have to ask you to show some evidence. Evidence, huh? And I suppose it's all up to me again, even though that they're the ones being ridiculous. What can I say? Miss Shimemaru's claim sounds rather flawed to me. Anyone who heard this would find it far-fetched. But it seems like it would be a fact that Miss Konpaku was using the office's paper. However, that might be because someone else placed it in Hakigokuro for her to find. Which would mean the thief who stole it did not want the paper itself. Well, we should save that for later and focus on breaking this testimony for now. Alright. Let's take a crack at it. I stole that paper from my office. The witness is talking crazy. Well, that's one way to object. It's so absurd I can't put it any other way. For the time being, could the defense explain how it is the witness is talking crazy exactly? It's a bit funnier when it's the Yama saying it. She will get angry if you do not take this seriously. I know. What I mean to say is that if you need paper, it's only common sense to go and buy some. In fact, Yomo typically purchases the paper for shoji screens from Courtroom. If she needed paper, she could have simply gone shopping for some like always. That shoji door was repapered in the middle of the night. Courtroom would already be closed for business. Then she'd just have to wait for the next morning. Oh, I forgot Aya could object here too. She could only do that if time permitted it. What now? Witness, you are not done yet, I hope. You don't even need to ask. Of course I'm not done. Seriously? What now? We got 3 objectors in the court. It's true that, under normal circumstances, Yomo would have to wait for tomorrow and purchase the paper she needed them. However, Yomo did not do this. Or maybe I should say, she could not do this. What in blazes are you talking about? Continue your testimony, if you please. I'd be happy to. As expected, a practicing lawyer is going to be a nuisance to deal with. Oh, jeez. Gotta unravel 3 objections. One fine objection day. Let's consider the reason why Yomo had to repaper the shoji door in the first place. Going by Yomo's own claims, it was because the shoji was torn. But how were those tears made to begin with? It was very likely because Yomo carelessly tore the shoji while practicing with her sword that night. But she would never want Lady Yuko to know about a blunder like that. And that must be why Yomo needed to repair the shoji before tomorrow came at any cost. So in order to hide that the shoji had been torn, it absolutely had to be repaired overnight. I think I got it. If he risked waiting for Courtroom to open the next day, Yuko Sayoji would witness the torn shoji. Thinking so, the defendant chose to steal paper from the victim's office on the spur of the moment. And that would also explain why Yomo seemed strangely restless to Lady Yuko. I see. A scant few minutes after the objection, we're already back on course for disaster. And now it is time for the defense's cross-examination. I like how you're ignoring how many times in Phoenix Wright you have to present evidence to Gumshoe. When Gumshoe is a detective and he's supposed to only be stating the facts. Yet every now and again, Gumshoe voices his own opinion and it conflicts with the court record. So Yomo was out. By all rights, you should never be able to object to a detective's testimony like that. Shouldn't we consider something else before that? What is it? That the culprit could have been someone else? How about that? Yomo was caught red-handed, right? So there's no point in you trying to come up with some other culprit. Red-handed? You never saw her stealing anything! But if one is caught handling and using stolen goods, how could they not be suspected? I must agree. Even though their whole case doesn't make any sense to begin with. But arguing about this now will amount to nothing. All we can do is listen to Mission Mamoru's claims and look for a weak point. I have an idea. Maybe I'll shoot for it. One by Yomo's own claims because the shoji was torn. Oops. How the tears made to begin with. Practicing that night, but you never really know a blunder like that. Repair the shoji by tomorrow at any cost. Much more coherent in her previous testimony. Turns out to be true, it would be a problem. Well, you need only show her theory doesn't hold up with evidence. It's easier said than done, especially with these 2 double-teaming me. But as the young heiress of Hina and I not thrive on difficulties, I would have thought that someone of your predilections would delight in this situation. Stop making it sound weird. Alright. I know it, I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Yeah. It's the fact that she wasn't there. The witness is talking crazy again. You know, that turn of phrase is really starting to get on my nerves. Then I'll make sure to file it away for later use. And what crazy talk is the witness speaking this time? She has been claiming that Yomu spent time practicing with her sword last night. I do not think there is anything particularly crazy about this myself. Did you forget what your own questioning revealed? Last night, Yomu had to leave Hakigokudo to look for something. And if she had any spare time to practice her swordplay, she spent it on that search. Think things through to the end before you speak. Yomu could easily have practiced after coming back. She'd be worn out after sneaking out at night in secret to search for who knows what. Normally, she'd just want to go to bed. Whether the defendant would have been too tired or not isn't something you could know. You want to say she didn't get any practice in, but you can't possibly prove that. I was only taking the opportunity to mention it. There is a much greater flaw to speak of here. Which is... To sum everything up, the case as it stands is that after having worried about it all afternoon, Yomu sneaked out of Hakigokudo at night to go look for something. Then, having returned from her search, Yomu suddenly decided to get in some sword practice and tore holes in the shoji. And afterwards, Yomu would have had to leave home again a second time to steal the paper. Ah! But according to Yomu's testimony, she only sneaked out the one time that night. The defendant's testimony isn't credible in the least. Then why don't we hear Yuuko's testimony instead? I agree that might be for the best. What is the prosecution's stance? I understand. I had already made preparations to summon her as a witness, so this will take no time at all. Very good. The next witness may enter the courtroom. Well then, witness, state your name and occupation. Ieko Sayoji, I am the defendant's supervisor. Now, supervisor, this is about the defendant. Yes, I've already been given an explanation by the prosecutor. On that night, Yomu left Hakigokudo only once. I am certain about that. And with that, Aya's reasoning has completely collapsed. Not quite. You were the one who has misunderstood the order of events. What are you trying to say? On the evening of the incident, the defendant practiced her swordplay in Hakigokudo, but she accidentally tore holes in the shoji screen, and so the only way she could hide her mistakes was to find suitable shoji paper on short notice. This was why she left Hakigokudo and searched for paper. You mean to say the object she was searching for that night truly was paper for the shoji all along? When you think about it this way, everything logically falls into place. They really want to force Aya's theory, though, no matter what it takes. Then it seems it will be important to clear up how the shoji was torn. Were the holes in that shoji truly made by the defendant or not? Can you shed any light on this, witness? Testify, you mean? Well, I wouldn't mind. Then please begin. Ba-bum. Arguing about a wall. To be quite honest, I do not know where those holes in the shoji came from either. After all, there was no reason I should watch my walls, waiting for someone to tear through them. And while I was worried about Yomu's odd behavior, I was not watching her every move. So to make a long story short, I never saw the moment that shoji was broken. I see. How should I put this? It was rather meaningless testimony, wasn't it? Well, such is life. Revelations won't merely appear at your convenience. She's still playing the fool, even with her servant's fate hanging in the balance. Defense, let me ask you to be sure. You will cross-examine? Yes, she's the only other occupant of Hakigokudo we can hear from, so I'll be making sure there are no other clues that she can give us. Please don't be too rough. In that case, the defendants may proceed. Okay. By the way, Chad, I fixed my Fumo's back. I don't know how best to explain that. Jun had a big head. Well, had. She still has a big head. So I found that my Jun was always leaning a bit forward. But apparently I'm a seasoned Fumo chiropractor because I have since fixed her back and now she sits up relatively straight. How did I do it? I don't know. But she's now sitting up straight. However, a shoji screen would make a sound on tearing, wouldn't it? But you still claim to have no idea how it happened. The door Yomu repaired was quite far from my room, so even if a sound was made, it wouldn't reach my ears. In that case, it is unsurprising you wouldn't take notice. Well, the thing is, most of the other Fumos sit up perfectly straight to begin with, but for some reason, maybe it's just because there's so much stuff going on her head, but she like leaned forward, so I had to fix her back, and I did. In that case, it's unsurprising you would not take notice. She really is no help at all. I don't have enough room on my desk for multiple Fumos, so only Jun is here. All the other ones are over there. Wow, that goes without saying. Oh, so you understand? Yes, well. Then let's move on, shall we? She's still just going at her own pace without a care in the world. While I was worried about Yomo's odd behavior, I was not watching her every move. She might have bent over, she might have got bent when she got packaged, so her position was like locked into place. I don't really know though. In other words, there's a possibility she tore holes in the shoji while you weren't watching. That's right, I cannot deny it at least. How about it then, Miss Attorney? Are you going to insist on the defendant's innocence even now? You do realize there isn't any proof at all Yomu wasn't the one who broke that shoji. Well, the thing is, Rumia and Miko came in the same box, and they're perfectly fine. Proof is not a concern, the fact which made use of the stolen goods. The defendant made use of the stolen goods, that is a fact. True, that's one fact I would never be able to deny. So to make a long story short, I never saw the moment that shoji was broken. When my Marissa came in, her button fell off. Marissa was the Fumo who came in with the most, like, damages. She wasn't necessarily damaged, mind you, but I was just like, I opened her up and her button fell off. I was like, what the fuck? So that sucked. But then, isn't there a possibility it was someone other than Yomu? Well, it is not impossible. What matters here is that it was the defendant who used stolen goods to fix it. If you want to prove she is innocent in the face of this, it will take more than mere possibilities. I don't have nearly enough to work with here. Should I try to press harder? Stop it. So you didn't see the moment the shoji was torn? I didn't. But do you know when it was torn? I'm afraid I do not know that either. Before I knew it, it was ripped up. And do you at least remember how it was when Yomu sneaked out of Hakigokuro? Oh, well, if I remember correctly, it was still fine then. Finally! Defense, is this significant? Naturally. I want it added to the testimony right now. Then will you please comply, witness? It's no trouble. At the time Yomu left Hakigokuro, the shoji wasn't torn yet. Okay, I probably should read a little bit more before I do that. But okay, my brain is somewhere, don't worry. Let's see. None of that, none of that. None of that, none of that. Yeah, so this will prove that if it wasn't torn, there was no reason for her to look for paper. We finally found it, the exit to this flimsy maze they've cobbled together. What on earth are you talking about now? Ieko's testimony just now contains a stunning fact that completely overturns the prosecution's case. No, that's impossible. Well, such is life. What is cause and what is effect? You can never know what to expect until all is said and done. There's only one set of cause and effect to matter here. And that is that the reason Yomu sneaked out of Hakigokuro has nothing to do with that torn shoji. How can you declare that? Remember Yieko's earlier testimony. When Yomu sneaked out, the shoji was not torn yet. So its getting torn couldn't have been her fault. Which means whatever it was Yomu went searching for, it had nothing to do with fixing that shoji. And she didn't need any paper at that time. Gah. We now know that Yomo only left Hakigokuro the one time, and that she wouldn't have done it in order to steal paper. That the prosecution's claim and Aya's theory have completely collapsed. That can't be. There's no other motive the culprit could have had. It is true that stolen paper was used to fix a shoji, but it would be unnatural to do such a thing without an actual pressing motive. The opposition's in disarray. They're as weak as they'll ever be. There's no better time to strike. For the time being, let's summarize everything we have learned so far. Yomu usually buys paper for the shoji from Korindo. And on that night, Yomu had no particular need to fix the shoji as soon as possible. From the above, it's clear that the prosecution's claim that Yomu stole that paper all so she could mend a shoji is entirely nonsensical. But then why? Naturally, this can only mean the culprit's motive was something completely different. Then let me ask you this, defense. The culprit's motive, just what was it? To sabotage the Boom Boom Mono newspaper. They were out of toilet paper. To start their own newspaper. First of all, there is one thing that was clearly impacted by this incident, isn't there? That being, needless to say, Aya's newspaper. With her whole stockpile of paper gone, Aya was unable to publish a new issue. And couldn't that have been the culprit's goal? But why would anyone interfere with that newspaper? The natural assumption is that something inconvenient for the culprit would be written in it. In other words, what's most essential here is the content of the articles. But what in the world has Aya Shimemanu been writing this time that would warrant this? She had been covering the incident of the vandalism of the advertising shrine for the Geyser Hot Spring. And the crime we are trying right now was committed by someone who did not want this report to spread. That's absurd. The victim aside, there are many other journalists who have been investigating that incident. If the defense's claim was true, this criminal would have had to sabotage every single newspaper. But what if Aya had discovered a truth no other reporter could? How could anyone know that? Well, I do know. Aya has information no one else could dig up. What is it? That incident had no witnesses and no apparent motive could be found, so no culprit was arrested. But it seems Aya was the one to track them down. What? And her hunch was on the mark. Therefore, the culprit, afraid of being exposed, broke into her office and stole her paper. That is the truth of this case. Order! Defense, you mean to say that the culprit in our incident is also the culprit in that vandalism case? Exactly. It's the only explanation I can think of. Prosecution, call Aya Shimemanu to the stand again. As you wish. She's back. Now, witness, I presume you have been listening to our earlier discussions. Yes. Then the criminal you've discovered, will you state their name for the court? I will not. What is wrong with you? They're the ones who sabotaged your newspaper. Oh, I wonder about that. What? If anyone had sabotaged my newspaper, it was Yomu, and she has nothing to do with what I've uncovered. But I've proven Yomu couldn't possibly have been the one who stole your paper. You can say whatever you like, but there's no proof both crimes were committed by the same person. Even now, protecting her exclusive scoop is all she cares about. As you'd expect, information is like a precious treasure to Miss Shimemanu. This is ridiculous. You know who did this, don't you? And you're going to cover for them? I do not think we would be hearing the true culprit's name from this witness, such as it is. In which case, we must ask the defense who brought up this theory in the first place. What is the name of this true culprit responsible for both these incidents? Lady Heen and I, will this truly be fine? It's perfectly fine. I predicted it would turn out this way, like this from the very beginning. And I have an answer ready for them. Then do speak up, defense. The culprit in this incident, what is their name? It's me! I did it! I took the boots! It was them. Satori Komeiji. Why her of all people? From the testimony of various witnesses, the police have gotten a rough idea of the time of the crime. And that would match with the time Satori was taking a bath in the hot spring. In addition, I was told by a witness that Satori stepped out of the bath alone at some point. I believe it's worth hearing her story. What is the prosecution's opinion? Very well. I have no particular reason to object. Understood. We will take a short recess. The prosecution will prepare the witness in the meantime. Certainly. Then court is henceforth in recess. April 21st. Bit of lobby. Tenshi? What is it? So, am I safe now? For now, I've managed to show that your motive isn't sufficient. Even if it's only that much, it's been enough for us to push our view of the case forward. And doesn't that mean I'm saved? Not necessarily. All I can deny right now is the motive that they presented. Whether you've done it or not hasn't been proven yet. Really? And our next opponent will be Miss Satori Komeiji. Well, I've called her out. But will this truly be fine, Miss Satori and you? Grudges or hurt feelings have no worth in a trial. In fact, if you lose your composure, you'll be defeated. However, Miss Satori can read minds. Psychological warfare will be useless against her. You don't understand a thing. Eh? Why do you think I'm forcing Satori to come to court? It's because court is the best place for me to face Satori. But if she can read your mind, only Satori can read minds, the Yama cannot, and she's the one who will pass judgment. That goes for the prosecutor too, of course. You were right. I do not understand a thing. We are still at an overwhelming disadvantage. Tenshi, Don't worry, I'll beat Satori and prove your innocence. I promise. Tenshi, and now it seems the time has come. That it's about to begin in earnest. The worst trial this court has ever seen. Oh boy. Oh, this is gonna get bad. Now then, let's resume. Prosecution, have you made the proper arrangements with the witness? Everything is in order. Very good, the witness will take the stand. A big ol' eyeball. Well then, witness, your name and occupation. My name is Satori Komeiji. I look after my pets and the Palace of the Earth Spirits, Chitiden. As for the reason you were called here, I doubt you need further explanations. Yes, I was told of everything at length by your prosecutor on the way here. It will be best for everyone if we proceed quickly, and you begin your testimony at once. Of course, I would also prefer to return home as soon as possible. Then your testimony. It's a big eyeball. Last night, my sister and I went for a bath in the geyser hot springs together. After a little bit, I had to use the restroom. So I went back into the changing room and straight to the restroom. Afterwards, I returned to the bath at once. And I only went back to that changing room alone this one time. I see. And so, this witness's trip to the hot spring has nothing to do with any incident. How do you respond, defense? If she was the true culprit, she would be bound to claim something like this. That is my opinion. Very well, you may cross-examine then. Whew. Saying it was one thing, but I don't see any way to prove it yet. She could hear that. Baba Booey. Really? Yes, we went to the hot spring by ourselves that time. What about? Oren and Oku were occupied with their work back at Chitiden. I apologize, this is how mind reading is. Why you? Stealing my speaking time? It makes me even angrier than I thought it would. Why? What do you mean, why? Must I really explain the reason? Defense, do not ask any inappropriate questions. How am I supposed to know what those are? Everyone should know what those are. Could it be that they all learned how to read minds while I wasn't looking? No, they needed only read the room. Speaking of, I am only now realizing I'm stuck between a mind reader and an air reader. With no detours. Naturally, I wanted to get this over with as quickly as possible. No, but... And as you know, you feel terribly chilly after leaving a hot bath. So I would think it's unsurprising that I did my business immediately and went back. I must agree. It's true you wouldn't want to stop along the way when going to the toilet, but something still feels odd. Then perhaps you should look over the evidence again. Right. Afterwards, I returned to the bath at once. And you made no detours then either. Naturally, there wasn't any reason I should dawdle after having taken care of my business. Wandering about instead of just going back to the bath would be asking to catch a chill. Anyone else would also feel the same. Except for the defense, it seems. How come they all say what they could say, all say whatever they please? And I only went back to that changing room alone this one time. Is that really? Will you please stop it already? You have no proof, so if you insist on suspecting me, even I'll have to lose my patience. Well, please settle down for now, witness. Excuse me. But it's as she says, Miss Attorney. If you have no reason at all to do so, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness. Incidentally, Kyoko can also testify I only stepped out the one time, as you well know. So there does not seem to be any reason to question this testimony. I was only trying to get confirmation. Why do they all have to make me look like a bad guy? It truly is frightening. Miss Satori knows everything we are thinking, even now. You said yourself would be at a disadvantage. However, judging by your words from back then, you have something up your sleeve. It's best if you don't ask too many questions about my last resort. There's groundwork to be laid before I can use it. This cross-examination is the first step on my road to victory. The one who relaxes their guard will lose, so let's aim properly and strike. Alright, so let's see. Gotcha. No gotcha. No, it's not the clothes. Okay. I figure it might be the clothes because of the paint smudge, but I suppose if it got on her, before then, it doesn't matter. Imagine using someone's testimony to contradict their own testimony. Well, I pressed everything, so it has to be a present. I know what Tenshi's trying to do. She wants to steer the direction of the conversation towards the sign, but I don't know how to do that with what I have. It's the problem right now. Straight to the restroom. Return to the bath at once. All these statements are possible, but... Fuck, I don't know, dude. Yama, what do you think of this? Oh, now I've gone and borked the whole thing. Is this the part where I present on everything? Huh. No, it's obviously not gonna work, but I guess at this point I just try everything until I hit a hit, because I don't know. I am drawing a blank. I tried the floor plan on something. I just don't remember which statement I tried it on. I might need help with this one, because I'm gonna try the floor plan on everything, but I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, all right, hold on. That isn't a contradiction or anything like that. It was the floor plan. I went back to the changing room and straight to the restroom. Oh, I understand. That's... She's gonna be like, no, you went to the lobby first. That isn't a contradiction or anything like that. But it's strange. That's completely irrelevant. For now, could the defense finish their sentences so we may be the judge of that? I'm trying! Witness, stop getting in my way. I only meant to warn you. Well, fine then. First of all, have a look at this floor plan of the hot spring. And what are we meant to be looking at here? The problem is the location of the single restroom. The hot spring building's lobby is between it and the changing rooms, which means if Satori had gone straight to the restroom without doing anything else, she would have walked through the lobby naked. Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that. I hadn't even thought of it like that. Order! Get a hold of yourselves! I see. I understand the witness's words now. As I said, this isn't worth talking about. However, going naked like this... That's not what I meant! So please stop imagining it! I got dressed before leaving the changing room. But you didn't say anything about it in your testimony. That's... I thought it went without saying. I put my clothes back on before going to the restroom. Isn't that what anyone would assume? Apparently, it is a attorney's habit to walk around naked in public. That's not true. At any rate, there's no reason to argue about this. Indeed, this couldn't be called a contradiction. So in the end, this was all a meaningless embarrassment for everyone involved. Is that really what you think? Eh? It's true you'd have to get dressed before going out of a changing room. It's the sort of thing you would assume even if Satori never did say as much in her testimony. But she could have corrected that omission in her account before I made a scene of it. Ah, she did know what you would say before you said it from reading your mind. and that means she could have avoided being embarrassed like this. But if it was necessary to make you lose face yourself, would she really let this happen just for that? She would much rather avoid having the whole audience imagining her naked, wouldn't she? But this is all a trifle in the end, isn't it? It's not. That the issue isn't that Satori can read our minds, it's that she has to read our minds. Even if it was just for a moment, the Yama, Patchouli, and the audience would all imagine her naked once I started making a scene. And I assume that would be unpleasant for Satori. Indeed. And if it would be unpleasant, it's only natural to do what you can to avoid it. However, Miss Satori did not think that was important enough to correct her testimony. She didn't change her testimony. In other words, she didn't want to be talking about clothes. Even if she was risking being humiliated, Satori doesn't want me bringing up her clothes. I hope we can now table this matter for good. Witness, could you please testify about the time of that crime once more? Should you prove unrelated to any incident, that would be enough to bring an end to this trial, I believe. Yes, certainly. Her connection to the incident. This is bound to be important. That was goofy, but I get it. It is true that I didn't go back to the changing room once during my bath. However, as I have said, I only went to the restroom, and I was dressed properly at the time. At any rate, that whole incident took place outside the hot spring, and at that time I never set foot outside the building. So you were never even near the scene of the crime when it was committed? Of course not. I had no reason to go there. From all this, everyone should now understand how preposterous the defense's claim that the witness was the culprit truly is. What do you mean preposterous? We wouldn't know that until I've cross-examined. I do not see how that will change anything. In any case, we cannot get started if you do not stop this bickering. Defense, begin your cross-examination. You don't need to ask. I have to get something on her here, no matter what. Understanding the incident. Let's go. So you still won't believe me. I truly only stepped out once. I'll say it again and again. I only went to the restroom and I did nothing else. Come now. If you want to try saying something like that, I hope you have evidence to back it up. Defense, please ask your questions verbally. If she just cut me off, then what's the point? I apologize. This is how mind reading is. And that was really it. What other business might I have had? And before you say anything else, would you kindly stop implying I was planning to start trouble? You have no reason to think so at all. Of course she saw that coming. You'll be defeated if you lose heart, Lady Hinadai. You should have testified as much from the beginning. I didn't think I should bother with details like these. However, it's a witness's obligation to give clear and accurate testimony. And therefore, isn't it best to keep things brief? That's enough. As things stand, I have no issues with the witness's testimony. Carry on, witness. Certainly. Seems my first punch wasn't quite enough. Well, that's certainly true. And in that case, it should be plainly obvious the broken sign had nothing to do with me. You can't say that for sure. What if you did leave the hot spring at the time of the incident? However, all I did was go from the changing room to the restroom. Whether I went to the scene of the crime or not, how could you possibly know? This is the only way she'll get away with it. And at that time, I never set foot outside the building. And is that the truth? Stop it already, Tenshi. This isn't a cross-examination, this is just finger-pointing. Don't you know how I operate? It's clear that no matter what I tell you, you'll refuse to believe me. If you want to call my testimony a lie, then by all means present evidence to disprove it. If you must know, defense, I feel she is absolutely right. I understand, but even so, there are no openings here. I have to find another angle of attack somehow. Ask about the broken sign. For now, can you tell me what you know about how the sign was broken? Even if you ask, I only saw it after the fact, and several people had already gathered at the scene, so I couldn't have a close look either. Meaning you didn't expect the sign yourself. I never even came close to that sign to begin with. I could not have been the one to break it. I see. Could you add this to your testimony? Understood. I never even came close to the sign to that day. Now we know that's a fib. That's a big fib. Hold it! Oh, please excuse me. There was something I forgot. Oh my... Did you just silence my objection? Would you kindly allow me to correct my testimony just a little? She got me. Very well. Wait! What is it, defense? What do you think? There's a contradiction in her testimony. That might be because of an oversight of mine. Once you've heard my testimony in full, I am certain you will find that contradiction has disappeared. That's not true. It's clear as day right now. And yet she's going to slip away like this? It cannot be helped. Miss Satori could see what you were thinking. You should have known it was bound to turn out like this from the beginning. What should I do now? I did pass by the sign on my way to the hot spring, but I couldn't have touched it afterwards. She silenced my objection. And why did you come near it then? There was no helping it. It was in the middle of the road. But you just said you never went near that sign. It slipped my mind. I am terribly sorry about that. That's a lie. She was afraid of having the contradiction in her testimony pointed out, so she changed it. That's just unfair. Unfair, am I? I would say I'm only returning the favor. After all, half a year ago, didn't you toy with my heart any way you pleased? That's... This third eye you were so terrified of back then. This is what it can do. I'm really at my wit's end here. I feel this cross-examination has gone on long enough. Nothing that has been shown so far implicates the witness in either incident in any way. Bearing that in mind, isn't it clear now that the defense's claims are entirely invalid? Not yet. I still stand by. You have been given ample chance to substantiate your claims. However, the defense has failed to prove a connection between this witness and any crime. I, for one, do not see any reason we should trouble the witness further. Has the time really come already? In that case, may I return home? Of course. Thank you for your cooperation. Oh, it was nothing. I wish you all the best then. But please wait a moment, miss. You want me to wait, but from what I can see, you do not actually have anything to ask me. I only... My, holding up the witness for no reason, were you? If you did needlessly keep the witness from leaving, I will have to penalize the defense accordingly. What? I apologize, but I could not leave this be. Buying time will not do you any good. You do realize I already know what you're thinking. You have no questions to ask in mind and cannot think of any way to corner me either. Your Honor, please make your decision now. If there is no rebuttal from the defense, then I see no reason to doubt the witness. In which case, there will be no more leniency from me. You can't! But please forgive me, Lady Hinanai. This is all my fault. Iku. That's right. Iku has given me another chance here. And all Satori says is there's nothing I can do? I'll make her regret looking down on me. Why can't you just let this end here, Tenchi? You wouldn't have to twist your own arm any further. You don't need to worry for me. And I still have something I need you to explain. Very funny. If the defense will insist, then I will allow them to ask one last question. However, if this turns out to lead only to more nonsense, I will order the witness to leave the courtroom. Is this acceptable? I don't mind. Lady Ian and I, let's think this over. I still have to tie Satori to the incident, and I had the answer in my hand already. That was why Satori bent her testimony out of shape to keep me from presenting it. Then I need to give greater meaning to this evidence. Let's seek it out. Please speak up now, defense. What do you intend to ask the witness about? Holy shit, look at that flashing fan. About when she returned to the changing room, about when she entered the bath, and when she passed by the sign. Tell me more about that time you came close to the sign in detail. You say that, but all I did was walk by it. What else is there to say? And at that time, the sign was not broken yet. It looked perfectly fine. What of it? It seems this was yet another pointless question. and has promised the witnesses to leave. Whoa. You are mistaken. This was the testimony I needed you to hear. That can't be. Satori's testimony just now. But please wait. I had a misunderstanding. I need to correct my testimony. Oh? In what way? What is it? You seem at a loss for words. What's the matter with you, Satori? Can't come up with a clever excuse this time? I demand that you stop demeaning the witness. Defense? When you said excuse, what was it you meant exactly? Your Honor! The witness's behavior is clearly strange, so I would like to hear out the defense before anything else. You can't. Now, what did you mean by an excuse, defense? You must know already, the witness can read minds. For some time now, she's been predicting every claim I attempt to make. There isn't anything I can do about what I see. Are you gonna call that a crime? That much isn't a crime, but you've been abusing it. When I was about to present arguments that would be a problem for you, you altered your testimony, and you tried to do it again just now. Then that outburst from the witness was also. The answer that I finally reached must be inconvenient for Satori, and so she tried to change her testimony, but she couldn't come up with a convincing excuse on the spot this time. That's not it. I see. The defense's concerns are reasonable. From now on, the witness will no longer be allowed to alter testimony once given. You can't! Even if the defense's claims prove mistaken, they must be heard before they can be refuted. You need to not correct your own testimony. Good. She has a handicap of her own now. Now, let us hear the defense's argument from the top. Understood. According to what Satori just said, she only went near the sign when she walked by it on her way to the hot spring, and it was perfectly fine then. And how could that be a problem? This testimony contradicts the evidence. The evidence? However, one piece of evidence won't suffice. Satori's new altered testimony creates a contradiction between two pieces of evidence I hold. Then you must show the court what is this evidence that contradicts the witness's testimony. This evidence contradicts Satori's testimony. Is this a time? Along with... This is it, Luigi. Can you explain the meaning of this evidence? Because it's contradictory. If this contradicts anything, it's your own claims. Whoops. It wasn't time. Am I free to go? No, I only made a little mistake. Even a little mistake can prove fatal. Do make sure to keep that in mind. Lady Hina and I will be alright. Everything will be fine. I already have the answer. We were just talking about contradictions in that spiel just now. Thinking about it, Satori changed her testimony to say she'd walk past the unbroken sign because denying she was ever near it wouldn't be possible. In other words, we definitely have evidence that proves Satori went near the sign. Yeah, it's her own testimony. But it's no longer the issue, is it? That's why we also need more evidence now. The evidence that connects Satori to the signboard, and the other evidence that contradicts her words. Now I will give the defense another chance. You said your evidence contradicts testimony. What is it? Along with her own testimony. This is it, Luigi. This is it, Luigi! Is it the forged evidence? No, it's not. Oh, fuck. Maybe it's the sign and the clothes? Ah! 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 Christ. I have no idea. The signpost. No. Ah. How about the sign itself? There we go. This is it, Luigi. Can you explain the meaning of this evidence? Before I do, confirm one thing for me, Satori. Yes, that is correct. I did walk by that sign once. I won't try to deny it anymore. Thank you. Now then, please have a look at these clothes. They're some of the witnesses' clothes. To be precise, they're the clothes Satori was wearing on the day of the incident. What's more, you can clearly tell there's a black stain on the skirt. That is certainly a stain. And this stain appears to be paint. Paint? The sign in question was put up that day, and some of the lettering had gotten smudged. And according to Oren, who made the sign herself, it was freshly painted. In other words, if you pressed against it, the paint would come off and stick to you. Hold on. Then the stain on these clothes has to be... That's right. It came from the paint on the sign. How on earth did this paint get on Satori's clothes? There's nothing strange about it. The witness has testified she walked by that sign once. If she happened to brush against it... True, but that is where the contradiction lies. What do you... This is where my second piece of evidence comes in. This broken post? Yes, this post was used to hold up the signboard. As you can see, that would have made the sign about chest high. What the hell are you going on about now? Take a good look at Satori's clothes again. Where is that paint stain exactly? We just saw it on the skirt. Wow! As I said, the signboard would have been at chest height, so a skirt couldn't possibly brush against it if you just walked by it. Gah. You said you only ever walked by that sign, but if that were true, paint couldn't have gotten on your skirt. In other words, you didn't just pass by the sign that day. But then what happened? That is the question. No matter how you think about it, there seems to be no natural way for paint from the sign to be adhered to the skirt. So how was that stain left there? That's... The most logical explanation would be that it happened as a result of kneeling by the broken sign. Kneeling? What reason would the witness have to get on her knees before a sign? There was definitely a reason the culprit had to kneel down by that sign after it was broken. And I can prove it now! Then let us hear out the defense. You claim the culprit must have knelt by that sign after it was broken, but why would you think so? It's time! It's time! This is why. Before we continue, there's something else I would like the defense to explain. What is it? Why did you present this evidence? But because it's the reason the culprit had to kneel! It is not. Excuse me, allow me to try again. Before you do, you have a penalty. Let's calm down, this isn't that difficult. The culprit did something else after breaking the sign, and they had to crouch down to do it. I'll need to point that out. Yeah, he broke the shit out of it. Let me ask you again, defense. I'm too trigger happy on the trump card. This was why. It's the broken sign. What are you trying to say? As you can see, the remains of the sign we found are missing a piece. So it appears, but why? It must be because the culprit carried away that missing piece with them. And why would the culprit do this? I can't say just yet. However, this isn't important right now. What do you mean? The important point here is that the culprit took away a piece of the sign, and in order to pick it out among the scattered splinters, they would have had to crouch down to the ground. Oh, you think so? What? The culprit had to pick up one of the pieces of the sign after it was broken, so they had to kneel down and look through them. And it was that moment the paint from one of the pieces got on Satori's skirt. No! Okay, I understand, but I don't understand why. Order! Satori's ties to the incident can't be denied anymore. Now on to the next stage. Just like I expected, Tenshi. When you speak like this, it truly sounds like I must have been the culprit. If I didn't know any better, even I'd fall for your tricks, so it's no wonder everyone else here would as well. My, if you can still joke around in this situation, you must have more nerve than I gave you credit for. I suppose we must be more alike than you think. What in the world are you talking about now, witness? Give me some thought, please. What reason could I have to pick up a part of that sign after breaking it? Because something about it would prove fatal to you if it were discovered. Something fatal, you say? That's awfully vague. But like you said, that's a trivial matter right now. There's a more fundamental problem here. Which is... It's extremely simple. Why would I have broken that sign to begin with? So a motive, then. It is because no motive for the crime could be pinned down that the investigation has been rough going. But now that we've come this far, surely you can provide a convincing answer that will overturn everything. That is... So, which will it be, Tenshi? My motive? Can you prove it? I can! Not. Proving a motive isn't possible right now. So you finally admit it then. I was not the culprit. That's wrong. It's only that I still don't understand your motive. But there's no doubt you were the one who did it. Tenshi, a bluff like this is wasted on me, you know. Ugh. It's no use. Satori can just see right through me. Was it really too rash to try and fight her in court? For now, we can see that the witness does not appear to have a motive either. So there is no need to discuss this further, is there? Please wait! What are the paint on Miss Satori's clothes? Moreover, it was in the spot that seems inexplicable. Miss Satori has yet to explain away all the evidence that was presented by the young heiress. You do have a point as well. Oh, is that so? So now you suspect me too, Your Honor. I am being an impartial arbiter to the very end, and from that perspective I feel there is still room to be suspicious of your actions. That is my conclusion. And you will be giving me a chance to explain myself. I would prefer if you did not read my mind, but there is no other way. In order for black and white to be made perfectly distinct, the witness will be allowed to testify once more. If that testimony raises no further questions, she will be free to go. I understand. And you will also agree to this defense? Fine. Now, let this last testimony begin. Ba-bum! That night at the baths. I've said this again and again, but I only returned to the changing room in order to go to the restroom. At that time, I heard a noise coming from outside. I was so surprised I ran out of the hot spring in a hurry towards the source of the noise. When I made it to where the sign should have been, all I found were splinters scattered about. However, I couldn't see very well in the dark of night, so I came near and crouched to have a closer look. I then realized it was the remains of the broken sign. I had no idea what could have how this could have happened. It felt so eerie I decided to go back in haste. In other words, you admit you went to the scene of the crime. Yes, I became so afraid of being taken for the criminal, I told no one until now. I'm so very sorry. But if this testimony is the truth, the witness was not the culprit. Do you really think I'll accept a story that convenient? It was because I knew you would say something like this that I kept silent. Whew, no matter what I say, she'll try to paint me as a villain. Now then, let the defense's last cross-examination begin. Understood. This is the end. This time I have to break through, once and for all. What the fuck is the purpose of this sign? Seriously, it's... Why is this being broken so relevant? Give me a hint. The door is slammed shut in front of us again. Of course it wouldn't be that easy. What will you do? Her motive is still a mystery. It's true. I thought I had Satori completely cornered, but she managed to slip my net again. She really is an opponent like no other. Lady Heen and I. It's fine. Didn't I prove Alice's innocence in my first trial, even though everyone believed it was impossible? This time will be no different. Of course, I believe in you, Lady Heen and I. Time to press like a madman. So you maintain the only reason you stepped out of the bathroom was to use the toilet. I do. I see. It seems we'll have to leave it at that. Right, we can move on. There's no reason to go over this again. It might be more useful to focus on the new additions. That does sound like a better idea. What kind of noise? Oh, I would say it was some sort of crackling sound. Whatever it was very loud. All the same, that would have been the sound of the sign being broken to pieces. I cannot think of anything else. So what did you do after hearing this sound? I was so surprised I ran to the hot spring in a hurry towards the source of the noise. Since that became a point of contention last time, let me make sure once again. Naturally, I was wearing my clothes then. But you were taken by surprise, weren't you? Yet you still took the time to leisurely get dressed? No matter what it was, there was no reason to just run outside naked. Correct. But it is true I went into a bit of a panic back then. I dug my clothes out of that basket as fast as I could. Thank you, Little Big Trouble, for the resub, or gifting the sub. One can hardly blame you. So, is anything the matter, Lady Heen and I? No, it's only that something she said here struck a chord. And you should have, right. Add that to the testimony. I double-clicked. Yama, I want that statement added to the testimony. You mean what the witness just said? Yes, it's extremely important. And if you would, witness. Very well. I dug my clothes out of the basket as fast as I could in my panic. He, ha, ha, ha. Tenshi, do you really mean to find fault with every little thing I say? Besides, aren't you only nitpicking now? What are you thinking now, Defense? Surely you aren't shouting over trifles. Now that everyone's said their piece, call it nitpicking if you want, but it is a contradiction, like it or not. A contradiction, you say? You already perfectly understand what it means, Satori, but we should go over it for everyone else's benefit. Satori, when you arrived at the hot spring with Koishi, in what order did you two undress? Koishi was first, and then I undressed after her. And you placed your clothes in a shared basket, in that same order. That's correct. And what is the problem here? Koishi and then Satori took off their clothes and left them in the same basket. So it goes without saying that Satori's clothes would be placed on top of Koishi's. What are you getting at? The question is, why did Satori tell us she dug out her clothes just now? I still do not see the problem here. If all was as it should have been, Satori would only have to pick up her clothes, no digging required. So she should not have used that expression. Lawyer, you really mean to object to this? Something like this? It's only a figure of speech. It is as I was saying, she can only nitpick now. It seems hearing out the defense was a mistake after all. Yes, the witness should be dismissed immediately. It's certainly true, it was just a figure of speech. But the words we unconsciously work into our speech are sometimes much more revealing than we expect. Because deceiving others takes a conscious effort. Unconsciously, was it? And you say Yes, you utter the words dug out without thinking. You let out the truth your consciousness wanted to bury. And what is the significance of all this in the end? At that time, Satori had to dig out her clothes from the basket she had shared with her sister. And that means her clothes were underneath Koishi's. What was that? Order! Defense, what in blazes? I do not understand it fully either, but it's the only thing I can think of now. For some reason, Satori had been desperately trying to conceal this fact the whole time. That's ridiculous! How can you just declare that? How? It's true that there's no definitive proof. Nothing material. But I feel it must be the truth. That's right. In Satori's first cross-examination, I felt something unnatural back then too. Satori tried to avoid having the clothes brought up. Couldn't this have been the reason all along? Your Honor, her claims are only baseless insinuations. So do I truly need to stay here any longer? There are so many thoughts flying around this place, it makes me nauseous. I know it would be best for you not to remain up here over long. You will be dismissed. I won't let you run from me, Satori. This whole time you've been trying to run. Even Koishi. You can't bear the way your sister looks at you anymore, so now you run from her too. Is hiding away in your hole all you can do, Satori? You can believe whatever you like. I couldn't care less what you think of me. Yama, this coward can read minds. She already knows everything I intend to say. If I'm allowed to speak, it'll be the end of her. So she's trying to escape. Are you going to let that happen? If you will go so far, we can hear out the defense just a little further. But should it turn out that you have needlessly hounded the witness, you will suffer the appropriate penalty. I understand. Tenshi, how long will you have to torment me before you are satisfied? This is how it has to be. If you are the culprit, I'll chase you down to the depths of hell itself. Hell, you say. But even if the clothes in that basket were turned over, what difference does it make? I cannot see how this could matter. However, the simple fact is actually fatal for Satori. If it weren't important, she wouldn't have bothered to hide it. But still. Just watch and see, Iku. We only need to think in reverse. Think in reverse? Rather than thinking up reasons why clothes swapping could be a problem. How things about these clothes could have been swapped to begin with. And you believe you have an answer, Lady Hinanai. I don't have any definitive proof, but Satori's desperation tells me everything I need to know. She's taken it on herself to hide this from everyone, and there can only be one reason for it. Now we must have an answer, defense. So the clothes swap places, why would that fact be fatal for the witness? Oh gee, I don't know. Because it means someone put on Koishi's clothes. Because it means Satori made a mistake. Because it means Koishi's clothes had disappeared. Huh. Because it would mean someone put on Koishi's clothes. Someone put them on. If the basket's content was swapped around before Satori went back to the changing room, it could only be because someone else handled it. But all that was in the basket was Satori and Koishi's clothes. So one would have to assume that the other person who touched these clothes were Koishi. Wait, how can you be so certain someone put on these clothes? To begin with, there wouldn't be any point in rearranging the clothes in the baskets only to put one outfit on top of the other. So if that did end up happening, it was secondary to the main purpose. And what would that purpose be? The most natural explanation is that before Satori had to step out of the bath, Koishi went to the changing room herself and put on her clothes. And after she was done with whatever she'd been doing, she returned to the bath. So she simply placed her clothes back in the basket. That is how Satori's clothes came to be under Koishi's. Order! No more of this. By this point, my meaning should be obvious. Your Honor, the lawyer's words were all nonsense. Everything she's about to say. That is enough, witness. The more you panic, the more you lend credence to the defense's claims. For some time now, you have been fitting a noose around your own neck. Haven't you realized it yet? Then, Miss Prosecutor. It's useless. The defense has a statement to make. You've just about confirmed it for us. There's no turning back anymore. How ironic, Satori. Everything you've been doing, it all led us to this moment. It can't be. It's all lies. This can't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. Everything will be all right. You won't have to bear with it much longer. I'll get this over with at once. Tenshi. Now let us hear your conclusions, defense. I was led astray on only one point. The true culprit's identity. So after everything you've put us through, you intend to accuse someone other than Satori Komeiji. Yes, that's correct. Then you may speak. The true culprit in that incident. What is their name? Baba boom. Koishi Komeiji. That is the true culprit's name. Tenshi, how can you do this again? Why do you insist on tormenting me? Don't misunderstand. You don't matter to me. I am Yomu's attorney right now. That's all. Defense, can you explain your reasoning? At the risk of repeating myself, it seems Koishi left the bath to go back to the changing room before Satori did. Moreover, it is extremely likely she put on her clothes at that time. Koishi must have gone outside and broken the sign. That is what I believe. But what of Satori Komeiji? Was she not the one who with paint on her clothes? Afterwards, Satori went to the scene herself and tried to hide Koishi's crime, and so everything comes together. She also hid the fact that Koishi's clothes were moved to be on top in the basket, all to cover for her. That was your crime. How unfortunate, Tenchi. There is still one essential point you have yet to explain away. And that is? Motive. If you say Koishi is the culprit, why would she do it? It is true that it is still in doubt. What do you say, defense? Can you present a motive for Koishi Komeiji? I can. Not. Koishi's motive isn't something I can present. And in that case, your claims are. No matter what we try, that question can't be answered because there was no motive. What? There couldn't have been a crime without a motive. That's completely absurd. Absurd? What makes you say that? Because no one would intentionally smash a sign to pieces without some sort of motive. Normally that would be true, but Koishi is an exception. What in blazes are you saying? When Koishi falls into unconsciousness, she acts entirely without thinking. In other words, if she had unconsciously broken that sign, there would have been nothing intentional about it. And please wait, there's still a hole in Tenchi's claim. What would that be? In order to commit this crime, Koishi would have had to leave the hot spring, and Kyoko and I would have seen it. It's only natural that you didn't see it. When Koishi is unconscious, no one can stay aware of her existence. Not even you, her own sister. In other words, no one could have witnessed her leaving from the changing room. Gah! Koishi has the makings of a very good spy. A motive that couldn't be explained, a culprit no one noticed. The missing piece to fill the holes in this jigsaw puzzle we've been struggling with was Koishi Komeiji. Now, who will say otherwise? I see. The unconscious crime of the younger sister concealed by the actions of the elder sister. These seem to be the facts of this case. Perhaps Aya was the first-hand knowledge of Koishi, was the only one investigating that incident who could realize she must have been the true culprit. So Satori broke into Aya's office and stole her paper, all to protect her sister no matter what. Order! It seems that the defense's claims... Objection. I have to admit, Tenchi, it took you far too lightly. I truly felt that as long as I could count on my third eye, I would have nothing to fear from you. I know you didn't object only to cry sour grapes. You want to fight this out to the end, don't you? I'm glad we understand each other so well. What is the meaning of this, witness? The conclusion is already... Nothing has been concluded. The defense's claims have no evidence of any sort to support them. Koishi caused the incident and I covered it up. There's no proof of it anywhere. As expected, there was never a world where I could have settled things with Satori without this. Lady Hina and I, is there any such evidence? There is. Here it comes. Truly? Are you certain about this, Tenchi? You will really use this evidence? Oh, are you worried for me again? Well, you have become someone quite special to me. I'm very touched, but instead of worrying for my sake, you should think of some excuse before it's too late. Don't forget, no one else here can read minds. You truly have outdone yourself, Tenchi. You wove today's trial into a trap meant solely for me, didn't you? You could say that. What will it be, defense? Do you have any definitive proof to support your claims? I have proof. That's impossible. Then present it at once. Definitive proof which exposes the true culprit. I got you now. Look at this. And what might this be? Remember the statue that the state the broken sign was found in? Of the pieces left at the scene, a single one was missing. Indeed, the culprit took it away. As for the reason it was taken away, it must have been because something damning was left on that splinter. Doesn't that sound reasonable? Wait a minute. You can't mean what you just presented. This is something I discovered near the crime scene. I'm certain it was part of that sign. This is that missing piece. And can you see this red mark on the edge there? I see it. It might be blood, and if so, it might be the culprits. Blood? I happen to hear in advertisements a certain kappa has been running in the papers, offering to carry out forensic investigations for a fee. It seems that recently techniques to identify someone's blood from a sample have been developed. So you mean to say that culprit feared this would be used to reveal the broken sign was stained with their own blood, and so they hid that one splinter away from the scene. Order! Although this is Satori's blood, not Koishi's, that will be found out when it's examined. But it shouldn't matter. Whoever the blood really came from, it can be taken as proof Satori concealed evidence. And that will inevitably lead back to the claim that Koishi was the actual culprit. What a tangled web you've been weaving, Tenshi. Isn't this all a bit too much even for you? I suppose. In the end, I couldn't corner you without this fake evidence. But now you are a suspect and the Yama can't have much faith in you left. If you try to insist this is fake and you didn't do it, it'll only be taken for the whining of a sore loser. So you dragged the trial out this long all so you could destroy my credibility. If I presented this right out the gate, I would have been showing my whole hand. This evidence could only be revealed once everyone already believed you must be guilty. My goodness, it seems I've been perfectly set up for the fall, doesn't it? So what will you do now? Unlike you, the Yama and Patchouli can't read my mind. Even if you know for a fact this is a fabrication of mine, there's no way you'll be convincing anyone. There's no escape for you now! I couldn't have put it better myself, Tenshi. Eh? Bailiff, make the preparations to summon Koichi Komeiji as a witness. You got it, Lady Eiki. Now, it seems we will need to hear a little more from Satori Komeiji. No, that won't be necessary, Your Honor. What do you mean, witness? I will confess to the crime. I was the one who destroyed that sign. What? Order! So that means you were the one who stole that paper from Aya's office? Oh no, I know nothing to that matter. But the evidence! All the lawyer has ever shown is evidence that ties me and my sister to the incident with the broken sign. But as far as that office robbery on trial today goes, there is absolutely nothing to speak of. What is she doing? You've already admitted half of the crime. What's the point of holding back the other? In that case, it seems we will have to resume the debate on the paper theft incident. But I'm afraid that won't be possible, Your Honor. Not with the defense submitting falsified evidence to the court. Falsified? Oh, shit! Order in the court! Witness, what is this falsified evidence you speak of? This missing piece of the sign the lawyer just presented. It is a forgery. You should have just admitted defeat with dignity. What proof do you have of your claims? I am the proof, Miss Attorney. What are you talking about? No one's going to listen to your testimony now. Quite the opposite. Since only I would know what became of that missing piece, you have no choice but to listen. What do you... You said it yourself, didn't you, lawyer? The culprit took this splinter from the scene to conceal evidence. Which means I can declare this as the true culprit. It wasn't left lying around somewhere for you to find. That evidence was burned to nothing long ago. What? I will confess as the true culprit, that piece of the sign will become evidence, so I burned it to dispose of it. It could not be in that lawyer's hands now. Oh, shit. Oh, shit! You're not the true culprit, because you didn't have a motive. Exactly like Koichi. But Koishi's... I have continued experimenting with closing my third eye to better understand my sister and her condition, so I happened to fall unconscious at that time, and that is how I caused this incident. That can't be it! The culprit was Koichi! Enough, defense. You no longer have leave to speak. Yama? You have been accused of framing a witness as a criminal using fabricated evidence. That would be unforgivable conduct. No further statement by the defense will be permitted in this court. What? What? She can't do this. If I can't speak, I can't help Yomu. Satori only admitted to destroying the sign. All it would have taken was one more step. Lady Hinanai, is it true? This evidence... It's true. If I wanted to bring down Satori, I knew it would take something like this. Still, that was going too far. I had no other choice. This is the only way I could save Yomu. Well then, witness, you will maintain you were unrelated to the paper theft that occurred in Aya's office. Yes, I never stole any paper. But if that is true, who was the culprit in our case in the end? There is no one but the defendant left. It still cannot be denied she was in possession of the stolen paper. Could this have been mere coincidence? Then there does not seem to be any need for further discussion. Let's just go on without me. And I have to stand here biting my thumb? Lady Hina and I. What a shame, Tenshi, but you overplayed your hand and I never let an opportunity go to waste. Why? You'll even make yourself a scapegoat? It's because you made a terrible mistake. I am the culprit, so it could not have been Koichi. That is all there is to it. There is no reason for me to shoulder crimes I am not responsible for. And that's really it. You said as much not too long ago, didn't you? That you chased me into the depths of hell. But I made hell my very own home. I know it far better than you do. So I'll be the one guiding you there, to the very depths of hell. I knew it, Satori. You'd never forgiven me from the beginning. How could I ever forgive you? Not even a year ago you used me like a toy. So you don't think anything of sacrificing yourself if it's so you can hurt me in return? Yes, Tenshi, that is who I am. Who Satori Komeiji is. That's not true. Kya! Don't shout out of nowhere. Tenshi, you've been barred from speaking. Shut up! All of you be quiet. I'm having an important conversation with Satori. Tenshi, you really think it's fine to keep letting this happen? Being blamed for things that aren't your fault? I am protecting what I need to protect. That's enough from me. You'll take the fall for your sister, and you really think that you'll do her any good? What do you mean? Being shielded from all blame by having someone you care about be accused in your place. You think this is what will make Koichi happy? This will make everything right between you again? That has nothing to do with you. How could you even understand what it is Koichi wants? It's true there's a lot I don't understand about Koichi, but I can understand that much. At least I think I know why. Ever since the incident half a year ago, Koichi seems sad whenever you look at her. Don't be foolish. If her own sister can't understand, there's no way someone like you could. You don't understand because you haven't had to be the defendant. Not in earnest. You've forgotten how painful it is to feel like there's no one on your side, so you can't understand. What are you talking about? From the very beginning, I was always the one on Koichi's side. In that incident from last year, I sent you a letter telling you Koichi had attacked someone. At that time, I didn't have any clear evidence suggesting Koichi was involved in any way, but you still read my letter, and you believed it. You truly believe Koichi must have done it. What does that even have to do with this? This is the same thing. You concluded that Koichi must have been to blame all on your own. And because you feel Koichi needs you to protect her, you've taken it on yourself to pay for her crime while you tell yourself you're doing it out of love. But deep down you must know, choosing to pay for your sister's crime means that you've already judged her guilty. No matter what you say, you don't believe in your precious sister one bit. Will you just shut your mouth already? I can't remember the last time I had to suffer through such a wretched conversation. Just think, Satori, Koichi doesn't want you to torment yourself for her sake. Stop this at once, Defense. You have been forbidden from interfering. What now? All I did was speak with Satori. You call this shouting match speaking? It would be unacceptable even under normal circumstances. The defense has now violated the rules twice. The hearing cannot continue like this. Not that there was need for further discussion. I will therefore hand down my verdict. Lady Hina and I... It's no use. I can't even object if I can't speak. There's nothing I can do. This can't be. I find the defendant, Yomu Konpaku. Who is it now? This isn't the time. Lady Eiki, I brought the witness over. What are you doing, Komachi? I was in the middle of giving my verdict. I don't really get what's going on, but I brought the witness Lady Eiki asked for. I suppose I might have said something like that. Hey now. At any rate, I am ready to deliver my verdict, so I fear we have troubled you for nothing. Before you do, Is it fine if I say something real quick? I am sorry, but it will have to wait for after the verdict. No, it can't. That'll make everything Sis said about being the culprit a fact, too. Koichi, it was only for a moment, but a little while ago, I saw into Sis's heart just a little bit. That's why I know for sure that Sis is just trying to make herself a scapegoat for me again. Koichi, no! None of this was your fault. You haven't done anything wrong. I wish you could say it with your heart, not your words. Oh. Koichi, you know, Sis, that Celestial over there is right. Every time you try to take the blame for something I did, it feels like I'm the one making you suffer. That you have to do it because I'm a bad sister. That's not... I don't want you to feel guilty for crimes you didn't do. If they were really my crimes, it's even worse. Whenever I'm with you, you feel awkward and ashamed because of me. So maybe you'd be happier if I didn't come near you anymore. No, that's not it. It was me who... And also, you don't trust me. It hurts that you'll just assume I'm guilty without telling me anything. It was like my feelings couldn't reach my sister anymore. That's how I felt, ever since what happened half a year ago. It was just unbearably sad. I see that now. I'm sorry, Koichi. So thanks, Celestial. You passed my feelings on to Sis. Because of that, I can speak with Sis like this again. I didn't do anything like that. I was only speaking my mind. Whoa, this music is rad. Holy shit. That aside, Satori, what will you do now? Are you really going to take the fall and hurt the both of you again? Oh, it's gone. If that was what has been weighing on Koichi, I must retract my previous statement. Witness? I was not the one who broke that sign. I was not the culprit. What? Which would mean... That means it was me. Probably. I don't really remember doing it, but I must have. But Sis didn't do it. I'm sure of it. Still, if you can only say you probably did it, that might not be sufficient. Actually, I can provide evidence to prove Koichi was the culprit. What? I've said it again and again, but I truly only left the bath to go to the restroom. And at that time, when I went to put on my clothes, I found Koichi were now on top of the basket. I thought it was strange, and when I took a close look, I could see a bulge around the skirt's pocket. It was when I reached inside that I found it. What was it? That missing piece of the sign! What? As soon as I saw it, I knew it was part of that sign Orin had set up outside. I ran out with the piece I'd found in hand to go see what had happened. When I got to where the sign should have been, I found it smashed into splinters like I expected. I couldn't see perfectly in the dark, so I crouched down to gather up the remains of the sign. I had to make sure what I found in Koichi's pocket would really come from here. That must have been what it was the paint got on my clothes. And the pieces were a match. Yes, I thought I should just leave the piece I'd found there and pretend none of this had happened. But right at that moment, someone came along. I panicked and ran back to the hot spring with that splinter still in hand. I felt it would end badly if someone caught me with this, so I crammed it into the space behind one of the shelves in the restroom. Bailiff, go to that hot spring at once and inspect the restroom shelves. Got it. It seems that in accordance with the witness's testimony, the missing piece was found behind a cupboard. Which means the evidence submitted by the defense was unmistakably a forgery. There is no longer any doubt. The missing piece was replaced with the real thing. The real missing piece of the broken sign. After finding it in Koichi's skirt pocket, Satori hid it in the hot springs restroom. Koichi's clothes had moved, and there was a piece of the sign in her pocket. From the instant I saw this, I realized Koichi must have destroyed the sign. Koichi Komeiji, do you have any objections to your sister's testimony? I don't. I know Sis won't be lying anymore. Understood. However, it seems we are back to the drawing board as far as the paper theft on trial today is concerned. After all, both of you sisters would have a clear motive for the crime. About that, it couldn't have been Sis or me. And you can provide proof. Yeah, I can. When I got back to Chittenden from the hot springs, Sis had gone straight to bed, so I just hung out in the courtyard. Then Marissa came to loot the house, so we played at Danmaku for a while. Sis slept right through it and didn't notice a thing, so she must have been sleeping real deeply. Then the both of you would have an alibi. Marissa would tell you all about it if you ask. Bailiff, if you wouldn't mind heading out again. Yeah, feels like this has just been an errand girl. I've just been an errand girl for a while now. Chat, this court day has been going on for almost 2 hours. Oh my Jesus. For now, it seems that the Komeiji sisters' alibi will be corroborated by Marissa's testimony. Then these two should both be discounted as suspects in this case. Which leaves only the defendant. I would think there's no longer any need to dally. Indeed, I feel that we can now render a verdict in this case at least. A trial for Koichi Komeiji will be held later. Okay, I get it. So in the end, I'll still lose without being able to do anything. There's no other way. If you cannot make arguments, you cannot contest the verdict. Lady Hinanai, I know you have done all you could, but this is the end. Forgive me, Yomu. I couldn't help you. I'm sorry. Tenshi. No, there's no way this is the last court date, because there's still too many unanswered questions. I find the defendant, Yomu Kompaku. Oh, what now, man? Please do not be so hasty, Your Honor. What is it this time, witness? There is nothing more to discuss. There is plenty more to discuss, because Yomu is entirely innocent. What are you doing? I can see straight into Yomu's heart, and there isn't a single trace of any crime in her. Finding her guilty would be a mistake. Satori. Yomu, I will swear to your innocence, so please do not make such a face anymore. Lady Hinanai, Miss Satori is... What? Satori is helping me?
Thank you.
Your Honor, this witness has perjured herself again and again, so you can't trust. You've got it backwards, miss. Even if Marissa gives her an alibi, Sis is still a suspect. There's no way she'd lie to cover for a complete stranger, right? And there is no reason I would ever want to help Tenshi, right? Satori? But... Enough. I will take this testimony into consideration. Your Honor! The witness would not help the defense, at least that would not lie for them. And while these are the words of a suspect, her claim is disadvantageous to her. If anything, I will give this the benefit of the doubt. We've been saved, Lady Hinanai. So it seems. The trial of Yomu Kompaku can be concluded tomorrow once a more convincing case has been made. Is that acceptable to the prosecution? Certainly. Then court is adjourned for today. Holy shit. Okay. Defendant lobby. Sorry, Yomu. It was quite a tightrope walk I put you through. No, please do not apologize. Still, I think you would even fabricate evidence in order to help me. I never imagined you would go so far. I don't know what to say. Yomu, you managed to avoid the dreaded guilty verdict after all. Oh, hold on, Chad. I have to go pick up a package. I'll be right back. I'm back. That was my collector's edition. That was my collector's edition. I've been waiting for a little bit, actually. I was actually kind of worried it got lost in the mail. I'll open it later. It's the game and the additional stuff. Not the statue, no. I actually haven't looked into the Flandre statue. But I got the limited edition bundle for the game, so it comes with the game and a few other special stuff. And I really wanted it. But as you can see, it showed up almost 2 weeks after the game came out, so I couldn't wait to play it. So I bought it on Steam as well. Miss Satori. How much is the flan? It's probably going to be something crazy high, though. How can I ever repay you? Please put it out of your mind. I was only repaying my own debt to your attorney. Satori, why would you help me? Thanks to you, I feel awake for the first time in ages. I stopped placing any trust in Koichi long ago, but I was still afraid she would hate me for it. It's only a concept art for now. Oh, I see. So they haven't actually made the figure yet. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get it because I have the Remy figure, and I'd like a double for it, or a duo for it. I don't really particularly want the Sakuya figure though, but that's just me. But I think Remilia's design in Touhou is so nice, so I had to get that one. And Flandra's design is a little scary, but I think it's pretty good. I was the one running away from having to face her. I only played at being the kind of sister Koichi would have to love instead. Alright. But you forced me to finally see the truth today. I was the one who should have had more faith in Koichi. Miss Satori. So I have to thank you, Tenshi. Koichi and I would not have faced each other without you. I truly mean it, from the heart. By the way, what will happen with Koichi? She was taken in by the police just a moment ago. It seems that tomorrow, once Yomu's trial ends, a trial will be held for Koichi. I see. Satori, it may be presumptuous of me, but I still feel your sister could be innocent. I am certain there is some other explanation to all of this. I will believe in her much like you have believed in me. So please, will you believe in Koichi's innocence as well, Satori? Thank you, Yomu. But you don't need to worry. I'll be fine, no matter what comes next. Then shouldn't we call it a day for now? Even I can get tired of standing. Of course, let us meet again tomorrow then. Indeed! I feel we have all earned ourselves some rest. Alright, what a long court day. Investigation took an hour, the court took 2. Ha! Alright. Criminy Jim Jims, take me back to the title. Get me out of here. I've saved the game. Oh man, that took longer than I thought. Good thing I didn't try to end with Aya today, huh? Holy shit. We would have been going for a while. But I'm not done the stream yet. But yeah, next time I play, chat. Next time I play, it will be... When will it be? I'm just thinking. Might be Thursday. Probably Thursday, yeah, because I won't be streaming Saturday. And Friday will be the rest of the Omake. But I don't want to do it tomorrow either, so, you know. But next time I do that, odds are it's going to be another long one. So I'm going to open with it, and there's a good chance it's the only thing I play if it's, you know, takes even longer than this. So I will finish it. I have a feeling it's only going to be one more investigation and one more court day. But yeah, if that's anything to go off of, it's going to be a long ride. That's all.